Good afternoon. Welcome to the inaugural Mission Mini Cup MotoAmerica National Final presented by Motul here at the Briggs Stratton Motorplex here at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin at Road America. I am Roger Hayden. I'm going to be joined in the booth by James Rispoli. You see the go-kart track there. The Motorplex park right there on the bottom. This is the one these kids are going to be racing all weekend. You can see how long it is. 50 feet of elevation here at this track. We heard a lot of kids talk about the challenges of that. And you can see on the outside, that's the big track at Road America, the same track the MotoAmerica guys do. And got some car races out there today and just a perfect day for some racing. Looking forward to getting this event going. James Rispoli, what are you looking forward to?
Super excited here, and to be a part of this, right? I've seen this track looks so big. I've never seen a go-kart track this big, and I'm really excited to call it with you.
Yeah, and it's just a huge opportunity, just for these kids to get this opportunity to come and race each other and race all the best and be able to as we see the schedule come up here, the broadcast schedule, the first race of the day at 2 p.m. Eastern is Stock 110 race. That's 10 laps long. And then at 2:25, the GP 190, 2:45, the Stock 50, 3:05 Eastern, the GP 160. And then after that at 3:25, the Street GP Stock 125 race. That's all race one. All these guys get a second race going into the afternoon. 4:05 Eastern, Stock 10, their second race. 4:25, the GP 190. 4:45 p.m. Stock 50, second race. 5:05 Eastern, the GP 160. And then following that will be the Street GP Stock 125. So all these riders will this weekend get two races today. Tomorrow we come back. We're going to race this track backwards. So it will be a total of 4 races, combined points. Whoever has the most points after the 4 races, after both days, ends up the champion, James.
Yeah, and they're going for a national championship. AMA has come on. They're going to get that #1 plate. Everybody just wanting to go for that. And as we see bikes on track here, we've got the Stock 110 race doing the sighting lap right now. The track is getting hotter with the conditions. It was a little brisk this morning, Raj.
Yeah, it was a little cold. And another cool opportunity, we were talking about this before we went on air. The starting procedure is the same as the MotoAmerica races, so these kids get this opportunity to go ahead and learn the starting procedure before they move through the program. So you'll see they did their sighting lap. They'll come around. There'll be one mechanic or a parent there in their grid spot. They'll stop there for a couple minutes, and then when they walk off, it's the warm-up lap.
Definitely, and as you see all the riders getting to the grid right now, and as you say, just getting them into the routine of just like the big track, like what we do, or what you used to do, what I currently do in the baggers, the same starting procedure as the guys. You can see all the riders getting just antsy, ready to go. They've had a Friday practice yesterday. They've had practice and qualifying this morning, and here we go.
You can see the wind has picked up as well out there. You can see the flags blowing around a little bit. A couple kids getting out of the spots. And that's why they do it like this, James. So they go ahead and get this practice, get these mistakes early on, and be able to get going. I was wondering, I don't know if he's having a problem there or he's just having trouble getting into his grid spot.
Yeah, and as they continue to go through the day, they're going to get better and better, and practice makes perfect as we go here. The green flag is out.
So this chicane here is new. You see the riders going through now. This is the previous races here. They haven't been able to use that chicane. It's new, but on pole is Gabe Datis, Blake Sarantino, and rounding out the front row is Christian Berlowitz. And then row 2, we got Ethan Reardon, Chase Jazikoff, John Sarkis rounding out the second row. Then we got Talon Nelson, Jared Masanga, Israel Kavosis. And then on the last row, you see Karina Tancredi and Saksa Allen.
Yeah, pretty big grid here for the stock class as they roll down, warming up the tires. And as you can see, as the drone shot, the beautiful drone shot, how flowy the track is. And you can't see the elevation. I know you mentioned it. We got 50 feet of elevation here. I mean, we're sitting to look at the top of the course. We can't even see it. Like, they go behind. This track is so unique, so cool, and it gives these riders a big opportunity, not just for a horsepower, but you got to have a lot of technique.
Yeah, a lot of technique and also a lot of nerves. There's a lot of stuff on the line. All these kids know. They seen that #1 plate when they came to the riders meeting this morning. You know, they know what's up for grabs. They all are going to come around here. You see some riders in the back there on your screen. They're actually too short, so they're going to start in the back where they can get a couple blocks there on their feet, and that's okay. If you want to start in the back, you're a little bit short, just as long as you are able to get out there and start safely. Nobody can be on the track in the front row, but in the back, a little bit short. See the red flag's down. The red light is going to come on, and when it goes off, we are gone racing. We get supple riders with a little wheelie off the start, but it looks pretty clean so far as they go through the chicane.
Yeah, it looks like the 37, Gabriel Datis, is leading us through the first chicane here, going down that back straightaway. If we can see here, we've got the rider. The top 4 on, looks like Kawasaki's, seems to be the preferred motorcycle here. As we look, we've got the going down. As you can see, look at the elevation coming down here.
Yeah, rider number 37 out front, that's Gabe. Good lead. Look, he's getting going pretty good early. One thing about this race, it's 10 laps long. That is a lot of laps for these young riders. We talk about the riders in this class ages from 8 to 12. So, you know, 10 laps is a long time for them.
You can see already the 37 of Datis just getting a little bit loose on the rear. You can see there's maybe a little bit of chatter or just warming up those tires. As we said, the sun is out as we come towards the first flying lap with the 111 of Blake Sorrento in second place. And we have Christian Berlowitz in third.
Kind of knew going into this race, Gabe, after the qualifying time he did. We see a rider down there. It looks like the number 22 of John Sarkis down. Rider up and okay. Most importantly, hopefully the kid can get back into this race and just get some laps. Even though he crashed, get back out there, and there's no replacement for some seat time.
Especially at the young age, right? We're all racing here, and we want to just continue to get laps as we go into this nice chicane here. It's really spread out the top 4 right now, with Datis continuing to lead, but it looks like Sorrento's starting to apply a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, he's definitely not letting him get away for sure, and just kind of closing that gap. And this gives Blake a really good opportunity to get out there and get behind Gabe, who's been a little bit quicker than him yesterday and then in the qualifying this morning. And, you know, even for these kids to be able to get out there and get behind a little bit faster rider, you can learn a lot.
And it seems like in the young, I mean, when I was young, it was a lot easier to follow than it was to lead. I really had to try to learn that skill. And you can see as earlier in the day, all these kids have just been getting so much faster at every single lap and every single session. As we see, I believe that's the 22 of Sarkis getting rolling again.
Yeah, getting back in the race.
Exactly.
That's awesome for him. You see that blue flag on the left. The flaggers are going to let him know, you know, the blue flag means scoot over. The leaders are coming, just kind of slowly, not anything abrupt, just slowly get out of the line and let the other kids racing at the front get by clean.
Yeah, as we see, Datis has got doing a 1:02.431 at the front here, stretching that lead to about 1.3 seconds. As we have Sorrento still in second place, Christian Berlowitz in third, Ethan Reardon in fourth place, all the way from Canada.
Yeah, just making that trek. Talked to them today, wanting to race the best, and they knew they had to come over here and race all these kids in the Mission Mini Cup if they want to go and race the best, and they're up for the challenge, and they're looking forward to it. They know these kids are really fast, but they want to see where they stack up against the rest of the riders in the world.
Yep, definitely here. As you can see, 17 went by there. Christian Berlowitz going down that long straightaway, hard braking. This track has got everything. There's a lot of tight, twisty corners. There's elevation. There's long straightaways. There's braking. So you get to really learn so much on the motorcycle.
And there's a lot of corners too as well, where if you mess up the first corner, it kind of puts you offline for the next one. So it shows these young guys what it means whenever you miss that apex by, you know, even though they're young, they're going to get to see that opportunity. Man, when I'm a little bit offline, hell, it really puts me offline for the next corners. We see the fastest lap of the race by Gabe. They're 1:02 flat. That's a couple tenths quicker than he went in qualifying, so just getting better every lap.
Raj, and you look at the chatter on the 37 there. Gabriel Datis rolling, talking about that 40 feet in some parts of the track. That last corner going to the line there, it is so wide. You got to use so much of the track to try to get the speed, especially on these stock 110 class.
Talking to some guys from the track today, they said some parts of this track is wider than the big track, you know, at 40 feet. So it gives those guys a lot of opportunity to get on that gas really early and be able to use all that track as Gabe just continues to put some better laps in. A 101.7 that last lap now leads to a little bit over 3 seconds.
But look at here, we've got Christian Berlowitz finding a 10th on Sorrento, Blake Sorrento there on the 111 in second place. We'll see if he can't start to close that gap as we see lap 3 to 4 here. Look at Berlowitz. He's got that carrot. He's not too far behind, and he seems to be building pace every single lap, as most of these kids are. And it will be interesting to see here as we go back to the 37, really riding the bike.
Just riding hard. You can see just the way he's moving the bike around and getting on that gas really, really quick, seeing the rear end step out. It's fun to watch these kids get out there and push these things to the limit.
And as we talk points, right? You know, you can't win the championship today, but you can certainly, it certainly doesn't help your cause if you were to go down. So it might be good to just take, you know, a good position, 1, 2, or 3, and get those points as we have 4 races.
Yeah, 4 races, and to come here at this final, you had to qualify at a regional race, and if you did that or participated in a regional race, you showed up here with 10 bonus points. So, you know, that's been huge as well. I know all the riders here at the front so far went to all those regional races, so they start this first race, as you mentioned, dead even with 10 points. You just need to collect a few and move on, and, you know, just try to be consistent over 4 races.
Definitely, and you can see some of the different styles of the riders. You got 111 Blake Sorrento there. Seems like he started to put a little bit of a gap now onto Christian Berlowitz. We'll see as they come past the start stripe there. We go back to the leader, goes through that first, you know, chicane there down the back straightaway, or up the elevation, like we talked about, just going straight uphill. If you don't get a good run, I mean, you're going to be slow going all the way up that straightaway.
Especially on these 110s, and it's going to show them really how important that drive is, going all the way up the hill. You can see the elevation, the way it goes up through there. You know, and Gabe, this last lap, not any quicker than his previous one. I think he knows he's got a really big lead now. He has over 4 seconds. Only 4 laps to go at this point. Just try to be smart and not make a mistake. You see him come through that right-hander. He kind of looks back a little bit to see where his competitors are.
And you can see Blake Sorrento there putting in his fastest lap of a 102.54, really extending that from Christian Berlowitz as we close down the race with 4 laps to go here. Now going to 3 laps to go as the 37 Datus coming across the start.
Three laps now. Still, even though he has the big lead, he's still pulling away about almost a second that last lap, and it's just been impressive to watch. Gabe hasn't put a wheel wrong, you know, for 10 laps, able to go out there and build that nice lead. And you see Blake Sorrento really getting quicker each lap as well, trying to build. He's got him a little bit of a gap now, over 3.5 seconds to the rider behind him.
Definitely, as we go back towards a little further down in the pack here. Racing all over the track. Oop, they get a little bit close there, the 83.
That's Gabe getting through lap traffic. He's got a big lead, so he just has to be patient getting through there.
Yeah, he's got such a big lead, and it's tough, man. As a kid, I remember growing up, all I wanted to do was just ride as hard as possible, and you can see the rear. I don't know if you can see there in a couple of the corners, the rear just having a little bit of chatter on the 37. Calm, cool, and collected. Still looking really good for Gabriel Datus. He's got great form.
Yeah, Gabriel was just watching for a young rider to be out there. This track, we've talked about how, you know, there's so many different parts of this track. There's hard braking, there's technical, there's chicanes, and be able to, you know, every time we see it on screen, there's never a mistake.
Yeah, and I think that they're just going to continue to get faster as the day goes. It seems like this track is really long, and I think, whoa, you can see front and rear just chattering through that left-hander there, just using a little bit of rear brake.
This is the corner you're talking about. If we stay on this shot, watch the front end. You know, the way it's already starting to chatter and trying to fold under through there. We got 1 lap to go.
And he's been pretty consistent. That you can see with the gap he has. He slowed down a little bit with a 102.9 that last lap. Gabriel Datis just doing really well here. Smooth, but pushing the limits.
And you can see even with this big lead, he's out there still a couple seconds quicker than the rest of the field. But right now he just has to be careful. He's coming up in lap traffic and just make sure he doesn't make a mistake through there. And it's hard when you're a young rider. You just want to pass people. You know, you're not thinking about points, and you just want to see somebody in front of you, and you want to go make the pass.
And it's probably good. He's lapping a few people right now, and he's got a carrot, kind of just to get to the next rider, and continuing to push. But these races are long. They're long races at 10 laps. As we come into, this is the final lap. We're coming in here to the checkered flag as Gabriel Datis takes your first win.
Yeah, come through the checkered flag. Look how happy he is coming out of the last corner, able to hold on, no mistakes. We see Blake Santino coming across the line as well. In second place, Christian Berlowitz there in third place. All three of those guys. Great ride by them, and they all collected points just like we were talking about. Be able to get ready for that second race this afternoon.
Look at Gabriel Datis, super excited. Looking for his buddies. I mean, that's what's so cool about the Mini Cup. It's everybody's friends. You can see that all the kids are hanging out with each other in the paddock here, and they just want to have fun and race them hard. And that's what's so cool about growing up in the paddock.
Yeah, we walked through the paddock during the lunch break, and all the kids were out there riding bicycles and throwing footballs and stuff like that. And just it's really fun to watch them come here and be able to race hard, but be kids as well.
Yeah, you can see Gabriel Datis giving the 913 of Ethan Reardon all the way from Canada, running off the track a little bit, trying to give a fist bump. That's so cool. We can see Gabriel Datis got his hand up, going off the track, going to be headed down towards Parc Ferme. Going to meet with Roger Hayden, get an interview as we wind back and look at this beautiful track here at the Briggs Stratton Motorplex. And here are results for race 1 in the Stock 110 Championship. Blake Sorrentino lead. Christian Berlowitz, Ethan Reardon, Talon Nelson, John Sarkis, Israel Cavassos, Jira Masanga, Soxa Allen Clifton, Karina Tancredi rounds out the top 10. As we're going to move into the next race here. And I gotta tell you, just the first race, getting it under the belt, being the first riders on track, it's always tough. A lot of nerves, being in the first national championship or the national final here at the Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup National Final presented by Motul. Chase Jazikoff rounds out our field. Such a beautiful layout here. And we're going to send it down to Roger with our winner, Gabriel Datis.
Yeah, Gabriel, awesome ride there. First race of the day. How was it for you out there?
It was really good. It was a little bit slick at certain points, but the bike was going really well, and I feel good.
Going into that second race this afternoon, you going to make any changes?
2 minutes.
I think
2 minutes.
I think I might try and take the turns a little bit wider because I've been struggling with that, turning in early.
Awesome. Well, good luck this afternoon and great race in that first race. Back to you, James.
As you heard there from Gabriel Datis, awesome first win. Going to try to open up the corners. What that means is he's going to try and enter a little bit wider, carry some more corner speed instead of go so tight, and then maybe run wide in the middle of the corner, slowing himself down. You got to remember on these stock bikes, corner speed is so good to give you that straightaway speed. If we can get a little bit faster in the mid-corner, we can carry that speed and have a faster straightaway speed. He's already pushing the limits, but it's awesome to hear that in making slight adjustments and already thinking about that next race.
1 minute until exciting.
You can really see the elevation in this shot right here. Like it was 50 feet of elevation. Some of these corners are blind even, and it's incredible the track we have here. I gotta tell you, I would have loved to have raced a track like this growing up. As we move into the GP 190 race 1. The wind blowing hard here. MotoAmerica at the Motorplex, Briggs Stratton Motorplex.
I just came in from the podium interview, and you're right. I mean, it's blowing. You see the leaves there. These little riders, I mean, they're going to feel it. We talked a lot about the elevation up there at the top of the hill. They're going to feel this breeze coming through there.
Definitely. As we roll into the GP 190 class, riders are on track here. And this will be, everybody's on Ovale GP 190s.
We got 5 riders in this class here. Everybody seems like they've been chasing Mahdi Salim so far this weekend in the practices and the qualifiers. But man, track conditions. We were out there this morning with jackets. You know, it was cold. It was super breezy like it is now. There was no sun. And everybody was talking about the track, all the little kids we talked to, how slick it was. Now you go out there and it's a lot harder, and that sun's beating down, so it could be a totally different racetrack.
Definitely, and when we were out walking walking through the pits, Maddie Salem had a mechanical issue, and they changed a motor between qualifying 2 and race 1 here, and it looks like they're having a little look-see at it to make sure it's all good. Let's hope everything went well there, but we were watching them do a motor swap.
Yeah, they're pushing him off track. I see his dad running over there. So they're still going to have the warm-up lap, maybe, you know. So he's going to have a couple minutes to, but not a lot of time to try to fix it and see what the problem is. You just hate to see that for such a young kid. Worked so hard to come here and be on pole position and just been dreaming about that #1 plate and have a DNF. But we got 4 races, so it's going to be difficult. But it doesn't mean he's out of it for the overall if he doesn't able to make this race.
Yeah, it's a shame, as he was the clear favorite for this race. As we got one rider, it seemed like maybe stalled on the grid, trying to get that bike started out there. The 24 of William Dalu. We got that bike running. Should be good. All the bikes getting that warm up in. And this is a totally different motorcycle from the last race we saw, Raj.
Yeah, totally different bikes. The GP 190s, they're built for this. They're built for road racing, and the other class, the stock 110 was kind of more like a dirt bike. And so here they come here, they got real awesome tires, good suspension. We've heard people talk about the suspension, how well it is, comes already on this bike when you buy it. So these bikes here, they're fast, especially the 190, and they're built just like a road bike. This is exactly what they were designed to do.
As we go here into the starting grid for race 1, as we said, we've got Mahdi Salim on the pole. Hopefully we can get out. It looks like they're pushing that bike off. Kenzie Matsudara in second place. Ulysses Werich in third. Going to the second row, William Dalu, fourth. Roman Darby rounds out your top 5. So unfortunate for...
Here we go. Lights on, lights off. Can't see who got this whole start from there, but it looks like...
Oh, we've got one rider down into turn 1. Hopefully riders up
Just got into that chicane there, and two riders' lines came together. Looks like Kinsey right now has got the lead as they start this first lap. Kinsey's had some experience in this class the last couple years doing the Ovale Cup and really fast and able to go to Europe and do some races as well. So he comes in here with some experience and knows how to lead these races from the front. Really good first half of the lap for him.
Yes, and it looks like we're going to
have a red flag. So the riders will come into pit lane there. You see all those young kids did a great job there, putting their hand or their leg out, letting the rider behind them know they were slowing down and that didn't just stopped abruptly. And hopefully, that rider, we seen him crash off the start there going into that first chicane. Looks like the rider's okay, but could be some fluid or the bike could be right there in the impact zone. So they're going to push it off, but you can see they're working on it as well, trying to get him back in the race.
Yep, William DeLue there just getting caught up in that first corner. And it's tough when you're going down the front straightaway looking for that first corner. You want to get good position going through that first chicane so you can get a good run up. That's the straightaway. As we see the 24 pushing the bike, seeing if we can't get back onto the grid. There with the MotoAmerica race official.
Looks like he's got the medical team there as well, taking a look at him. He looks like he's okay, but I'm sure they want to take a look and just double check as well.
As we go here with another sighting lap for the GP 190 class, down to 3 riders.
Down to 3 riders. So we'll see. We've seen Kinsey get a really good start. All these kids kind of got a practice start now, and they're going to know what to expect when they go through this first chicane and be able to kind of know that the other ones move there, those first couple corners.
We're just checking out the bike on the 24 here, going over, making sure it's safe. 9 laps remaining in this GP 190 race 1.
It's like Marty's trying to get back in this race as well, with it being a restart. See how that works out. A lot of excitement early, only the second race of the day. And
a lot of drama,
yeah,
Raj.
That's what it's like, these national finals, they bring it. It's a lot on the line.
It is. It is racing for that #1 plate. AMA National Champ plate. You got to start well and put the points in.
First 2 riders that end up first and second in points in this class become Dunlop Elite Amateur Program riders, which is going to be huge for them as well. So there's a lot up for them. That would be huge to be part of that Elite Dunlop Amateur Program.
Yeah, it's definitely, especially with tires, as Dunlop is an amazing supporter of this series. Everybody on Dunlop tires.
Now we got the warm-up lap. Looks like Marty's going to be able to get back out, and so William's going to get back out as well, so we're back to a full grid.
How crazy. Turn of events there.
Yeah.
Both riders getting back out there, and Marty.
What a break for Marty, that red flag. You know, you hate to see those come out. You want everybody to be okay, but, you know, sometimes they work in your favor.
Not always do they work in your favor, but it is awesome, especially to see him get back out there and get a warm-up lap. See where they put him on the grid as the riders snake their way through this beautiful Road America track. And it is interesting to see the different riding styles as we went from the stock 110 to more of a little mini super bike, as you could say.
GP style bike.
Yeah, there you go, GP style bike.
So it looks like we're going to look at the grid, see if Marty's able to take his original grid spot, or you have to start in the back.
It looks like they're going to put Marty in the back with the 74. 74 is on the front row, actually.
Kenzie, so we'll see. Lights on. The red light goes off, and we are going. Kenzie, another good start there, able to kind of be able to put himself in a good spot. But you can see Marty there, having a rider having a problem there right off the start again. It's really unfortunate for William to have that, but able to get in the race.
As we see a pass already, going right over the curbs there. And we're getting stacked up here with the top 3 riders, with Kenzie Matadura leading the way.
Marty's already kind of closed that gap right there, starting from the back, able to get a really good start. Only 5 riders out there, kind of worked in his favor, and he's looking racy early, like he's wanting to make a move right away, and he's going for it.
Goes right in and passes Kenzie there and trying to stretch the legs. And it's got to be difficult, you know, having so much problems. Your heart rate's through the roof, trying to get calm, cool, and collected and put together a good, strong race here. But it looks like Matty Salem just out putting in some good laps early on, coming from the back.
Yeah, you can just look at him sliding the rear wheel coming out of that chicane there. You know, these 190s have a lot of horsepower, and as you mentioned, you know, he thinks he's in the race, then he's out and he's back in, so it's a lot for a young guy to be able to control those emotions and get back out there and able to put in a really good first lap. He looked really aggressive that first lap, like he has something he wants to prove.
Definitely, and you can see Kenzie here, see if Kenzie can latch on and try to find some time following Matty, and maybe there's some different line choices.
That's the thing too, just to be able to follow. You know, a lot of these riders don't want to let each other follow them in practice. They don't want to show, you know, even for kids, they don't want to let their competitors see where they're strong or get quicker. And now he's able to get out there. Look at him trying to get the, it's just so impressive to watch these kids just slide the rear wheel coming out of that last corner like they're on a super bike.
It's insane. And I remember watching Matty last year, and he's grown so much in the talent that he has, just putting in those laps. And you can really see the aggression, like you were saying, Raj, riding the bike, coming from the 160 last year and moving up to the 190, having a little look back. Where is Kenzie? He's already got 1.6 seconds on Kenzie. Does a 53.2 Madi that last lap.
It's a good lap. You know, he qualified just a little bit off that. So it's just for him to be able to get out there and already do a qualifying lap right here so early into the race. And I think as we see this race goes on, he's kind of looking back. He wants to know exactly where he's at. Probably, you know how it is when you have a little bit of a mechanical before the race, you get out there and you start hearing things. You think the motors start, you know, knocking, and, you know, it can really mess with your concentration.
Definitely, especially with these long laps, Raj. I mean, 9 laps here in this race as we have Kenzie in second place. Finding some time, though, a 54.5, 2.1. See if Kenzie can't close the gap a little bit with Ulysses in third place, doing a 56.3, a little bit further off. Just the style of Madi, so calm, cool, collected, comfortable on this bike.
Yeah, just watch him come through. Here's the left and then into the right. This is the last corner going onto the straightaway. Look how early he gets on the throttle in the rear end and just stepping out and comes through here. Really good line through the chicane, really fast through there. We're watching him this morning, trying to make that chicane as quick as possible. Almost a little bit too quick there, ran a little bit wide on the exit. Seeing his lap times, he's kind of slowed off a little bit from his best lap. He probably looking back, and after having that, you know, that mechanical, maybe wants to take it easy on that bike.
Needs to keep his head down, keep pushing forward. It's only race 1 as he continued, and he's running all over the curbs. Third place, 64. Ulysses looking good. Hanging off the bike, looking GP.
Almost dragging an elbow there. Won't be long before he's got his elbow down, and just watching the lap times. He's another one that's, you know, just getting that seat time, and it seems like every single lap is just a little bit quicker than his previous lap.
Going into the last corner for the 64. Ulysses trying to use all the track, getting tucked in.
This chicane comes up quick on these 190s for these riders. I mean, they're getting on the straightaway, and they think they're going to get going, and then that chicane's right there.
As we see Marty using all the track. On these 190s, they've got a clutch where they do downshifts, grabbing a little wheelie over the curb there. Just feeling so comfortable at home on the 190.
It's just impressive to watch, and you can tell he watches a lot of video of you know, the GP guys going over the curves and the riding style, and you see he's trying to implement that into his own.
Marty Salem goes through the chicane, up the back straightaway here. Keeping it consistent lap time, 54.4, still stretching the gap, running all over the curves. They're taking everything, just really using all the track here, all of the 40 feet in some places here at MotoAmerica at the Motorplex.
We mentioned the top 2 overall after both days becomes the Dunlop Elite Amateur Program. Also, they're going to get an Arai helmet if they're the champ at the end. Tommy Duma pendant. I mean, that's really cool as well to remember that championship. And then also the big one, a Dunlop guitar, James. You know how cool those are, and able for one of these kids to be able to hang that in their trophy room.
They're amazing. Let me tell you, having such great sponsors back the Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup National Final is crazy. As you see the 74 there, Kenzie backing it in a little bit, still pushing, 55.0 last lap. And it's tough, Raj. I mean, when you're out there by yourself trying to put consistent laps together, maybe you're not feeling amazing, or there's maybe a little bit of an issue, or the tires haven't come in quite right. It's tough to push through the entire race when you're out there by yourself.
It is, and you just got to kind of try to focus and latch on and not make a mistake, and that's hard. And Kenzie's been riding a lot of different bikes as well, and for young guys, kind of hard to jump back and forth, but he's able to be here and still a good ride.
We come into the last corner, Matty Salem coming across the stripe, 1 lap to go. Just in an absolute rhythm right now. Another 54.14. Kenzie goes through at a 54.7.
Marty just took a big look back, seeing he had over 5-second lead there on this last lap.
Maybe time to put it in cruise control, Raj.
Just the consistency. We look at here, his best lap, 53.2. Last lap, 54.1. I mean, 9 laps, all within, you know, half a second of each other. Just, it's really impressive.
He looks like he's just having a blast.
And he's looking back, and I think he's got a little bit left in the tank if he needs it.
I would say so. Matty Salem rolling through. Coming into the last corner here.
Last corner comes out here. He's going to be the checker flag and to try to do the wheelie. Marty able to win race 1, the GP 190. Kenzie Matsudaira there, 2nd place. Man, all that drama at the start of the race and the engine and being pushed off the track. I mean, he probably didn't think, 10 minutes ago he was going to be the winner.
It's got to be such a relief to get that first one out of the way, put 25 points in the bag.
Also gives his dad an opportunity now to look at that bike and really look at it before they go into the second race this afternoon, and make sure wherever that problem was, they really do have it sorted out.
Yeah, exactly, Raj. As we saw, Matty pulls a wheelie over the curb there, almost loses it a little bit. Just having a blast. Having a great time, rolling in the pits here. And the bike just looks awesome. They did such a good job with that design. Marty Salem, Team Historic GP. As we look at the results for race 1 of the GP 190. Marty Salem takes the win over Kenzie Matsudaira. 3rd place was Ulysses Werench. 4th, Roman Darby. And rounding out your top 5, William Delu. As we have our winner, Madi, rolling into Parc Ferme, stoked. As we look at the Motorplex here at MotoAmerica. And we are down with Roger Hayden with our winner, Maddie Salem.
Marty, we've seen you have a couple issues at the start of that race. Can you tell us what was going on?
Yeah, there was something loose on the engine, so it started to leak oil, but my dad got it fixed because the red flag kind of saved us. And I got back on the race, started in the back, I got a good start. And then I was in third. I passed Ulysses into turn 4. And then I saw a chance on Kensei, and then I made that pass. I just maintained my lap times and build a gap.
How was you able to control your emotions with everything going on to start at that race and then able to put it behind you when the lights go out?
I was just trying to stay calm. I wasn't trying to get aggressive, so I make a mistake and then crash. But yeah, I made it work.
Great job. We'll see you out there race 2 this afternoon.
Thank you.
Back to you, James.
As you just heard from Madi there, having a little issue, bike mechanical. Staying calm is how he was able to get through that and then put an early move in to create a gap from second place there. Put some time and just really control the race. Super consistent lap times as we look at all the fans, family, and friends that showed up here for the first Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup National Fire presented by Motul. As we see, it looks like the wind is even picking up a little bit more. And that's just going to continue to throw some variables in today. As track conditions could change a little bit from the sun that was just out beating down on the track, heating it up a little bit, to the wind, cooling it off a little. Could change the grip. Everybody's going to have to be on their toes today as we move into the Stock 50 class, one of our biggest classes here at the Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup National Final. Bikes are on track for their sighting lap. We see the number 3 there. Michael Sarkis.
These kids are young. It's ages 6 to 8 in this class. So these kids are only, some of them are just turned 6 years old where they're able to come here and make this race.
So small. It's crazy to see how fast they are. I believe Cooper Jazikov is 6 years old.
Cooper is. Cruz Texter, 6 years old as well. So a lot of really young riders, and what a great chance for them to be at 6 years old to be able to. I mean, just think back when you were 6 years old, there was nothing like this for us to go do at such a young age to get some, road racing and some street experience.
And to understand what it's like to be in front of, the crowd, and to be in front of, having all these sponsors, and to be with the procedure of the national championship, to really learn.
And one thing different in this class, the Stock 50, you see that after the sighting lap, we'll get into that more after the grid, as we do the Chase Jazikoff, Nico Bandel, Cruz Texture. We mentioned him in the second row. Cooper, it's Chase's brother. Bron Masanga and Skylar Locks there rounding out the second row. Then we go down to the third row. Michael Sarkis, Chip Lampley, and Bruno Bolanos, and Zachary Tancredi there rounding out the top 10. With that sighting lap and all the other classes, we've seen a parent out there for the sighting lap. But when the warm-up lap, they weren't allowed to be out there. In this Stock 50 class, with these kids are so little, after the sighting lap and the warm-up lap, a mechanic or a dad can be out there and make sure they get lined up in that right spot.
It's kind of like a quick start for us in the national championship. We're allowed to have one mechanic there on the first sighting lap.
But it's cool too after the warm-up lap too, for just to make sure these kids are 6 years old lining up in the right spot.
It's so impressive to see how fast they're going. When I showed up here this morning watching these kids, and you think, you know, maybe a couple of them are a couple seconds off, and then in a lap they find like 1.6 seconds, and you're like, where did that come from? It just shows you that they're a sponge, just absorbing and learning so much every single lap they get. And when they get around their friends, they seem to go a little bit faster as well.
See some of them barely staying up, a little bit short there. The flagman heads off the track. They're going to start just like all the other classes. The red light is going to come on and go off, and we are going.
Cruz Texter got an amazing
Really
start.
good start.
Going through the first chicane. Look at the different line choice from Cruz Texter trying to get a run down that back straightaway there.
I think in this class with a lot of, you know, a lot of these kids without a lot of experience, you're going to see, you'll notice there'll be a lot of different lines there as they start to figure it out. See Cruz Texter takes a little bit of a look back and see 3 riders right there.
Taking another look back as we have Chase Jazikoff leading them with Cruz Texter having a little look-see. And I believe that is Nico Bandel in the 3rd position. Throwing a lot of body English there, Raj.
Yeah, a lot of movement there. Look how much the guy in 3rd, how much he leans off compared to the other riders.
Yeah, Nico Bandel has really got that knee down and going a little bit wider and carrying a lot of corner speed on that stock 50.
Top 5 guys, though, are all still pretty close after we finish this first lap.
Yeah, we saw that the times were pretty close for the top 4, and we expected to see a few of the other riders to find in. It looks like this is a 5-rider battle. Bikes everywhere going down the front straightaway here as Chase Jazikoff leads Cruz Texter, Nico Bandel, Cooper Jazikoff latching on in 4th place there, and then Braun Masanga in 5th. And the top 5 seem to be splitting away from 6th place of Skylar Locks.
They're pulling away from the rest of the pack, but they're closing up as a group as well. This race is a 7-lap race, so it's going to be a long one, you know, for a 6-year-old able to get out there and put in 7 really good laps.
And it'll be interesting to see if Chase here can put a little bit of distance and see if they stop, you know, don't get fighting. You know, when you start making passes and you start racing people, you slow down. So it'll be interesting to see if Cruz Texter is able to latch on to Chase Jazikoff.
Chase's brother was quickest lap of the race, so he might be dealing with his brother here after a couple laps if he keeps putting these good ones in.
It's interesting to see in the different sections of the track, the different riders are a little bit faster. The track is so big, they've got different places on the track where they might be a little bit better as Chase Jazikoff goes across the start-finish line with a 1:11.93, the fastest lap of the race, really stretching out the field.
Yeah, you can see that Nico Bandel, you talked about him, and Cruz there, just seems like one part of the track in the beginning, it looks like Nico's a little bit quicker than Cruz is able to kind of stretch it back out that second part.
And you've got Cooper there in 4th place just watching and waiting, seeing if there's a move that presents itself.
See Nico there starting to move around a little bit, trying to find some different lines. He thinks he has a little bit more speed, but just not enough to be able to make a really good pass yet early on in this race.
Yeah, Nico Bandel definitely has a different line. Oh, as he goes tight there, and that left-hander on Cruz Texter, and Cruz Texter shuts the door, looks back at Nico Bandel.
Nico goes now. I think that might have startled Cruz a little bit. He heard that bike coming in there and got into him a little bit, but Nico's able to make the pass.
I know Cruz Texter is not going to like that. We'll see if Nico Bandel can stretch it out or if Cruz Texter can continue to follow and find a little bit of speed. But it looks like Nico Bandel gets a great run up the hill.
Really good run. We'll see if he can actually close down that gap now to Chase, who's a couple seconds out in front of him.
Yeah, Chase Jazikoff there did an 1:11.799, over a second faster than Nico Bandel that last lap, but Nico was in traffic a little bit, fighting with Cruz Texter there, so it's definitely going to cost him some time. As Cooper starting to make a little bit of headway as we see this battle start to come together between Cruz Texter and Cooper Jazikoff.
It's like Nico. It's going to be interesting to see Nico's lap time. He's kind of pulled away from the third and fourth. See if he's going to be able to chase down Chase as this race starts to wind down. And he is. You can see he's closed up a little bit that last lap. 1:10.7, fastest lap of the race. A second quicker than Nico qualified as well.
And Nico pulled Cruz Texter into a 1:11.7 as well. So the entire field coming back together. There's only a second now separating first and second as Nico Bandel is really pushing the limits on that stock 50.
He's closed the gap.
As we have a pass there from Cooper Jazikoff on Cruz Texter. That was a big lunge.
Big lunge. But he was able to make it. You know, it was a really good pass. He got such a good run up that hill. You know, that hill going all the way up there starts from the chicane, getting out of there really well.
As we go to the number 1 chase, Nico Bandel, the 186. A lot of body English, a lot of style.
Okay, now look how much he hangs off there, a lot more compared to the other riders, and now he's closed the gap. Chase has got company.
As we go to the start stripe with 2 laps remaining, a 1:10.5 for Nico Bandel. We'll see if he can close the gap using all the track. Nico Bandel sitting on the fender, trying to get as arrow as possible, Raj.
Look how much he makes up on the brakes there. It's a little bit easier when you're behind somebody there to kind of close down. On the brakes, he's closed the lead down, but making a pass is a totally different thing with a lap and a half left to go.
Yeah, and Chase isn't going slow either. He's pushing as well. He did his fastest lap of a 1:11.188. And Cooper as well, a 1:10.96 as we go to
Michael Sarkis there, running right there in the 9th place. Back up to Chase there. He's responded a little bit. You know, he's kind of picked the pace back up a little bit since Nico caught him.
And you can see the different body styles, how there's a lot more lean angle out of the number 1 versus when you look at Nico Bandel, he's really hanging off the bike and keeping the motorcycle up further to carry that more speed instead of start dragging his feet and stuff like that. As we go back to the leaders here, Nico Bandel pressuring Chase,
this
the
is
number
the
1.
last lap.
What do you think, Raj?
I think toward the end of the track, he was really aggressive there where he made the pass on Cruz and just can't make a mistake through here to let Chase pull away.
Nothing between them as they start coming down the hill. As Nico Bandel has a look, that's how wide the track is, Raj. It looks like he was a lot closer maybe than he was.
Chase looked over and seen him. He knows. I think Chase is in a good spot if he just doesn't make a mistake with a handful of corners and Nico's down.
Nico pushing the absolute limits of that stock 50. See if he can't pick it up and still get the points.
He's seen the win right there. Just pushed a little bit too hard on that last lap.
And I don't even know if Chase knows. Just still pushing.
Chase only has to navigate one more corner there coming onto the front straightaway. You're going to see that checkered flag. Can almost see it smile under his helmet.
I got to say, what a great race.
Yeah.
I believe Cruz Texter is going to be in 2nd place. No, Cooper Jazikoff, the 31, go 1-2.
Yeah.
That's awesome with Cruz Texter in 3rd. Braun Masanga in 4th place. Look at the 1 pumped.
I think Nico got back up, so not sure he's going right now. Doesn't look like he'll be able to get very many points, though, unfortunately for him after such a good race. You can see the handlebar there, bent up.
The brakes push down, the front brake there. See if we get just cruise it home, get some sort of points, if possible. Definitely a heartbreak, but if you're pushing the limits, man, you got to be okay with that. That was an awesome race.
He went down fighting. He just made a mistake. Talk about how young they are and wanted that win. That's a tricky corner, too, because it goes downhill. So it kind of puts a little bit of load on that front end, and something he'll, being young, he'll learn from.
Yeah, and Nico Bandel there was just carrying so much speed, and every single lap going faster and faster and faster. That's what happens. You got to find the limits. You got to push the limits, and sometimes you make those little bit of mistakes. Hopefully you can just learn from that for the next race today. They can rebuild that bike a little bit and get back in the fight. Anything can happen at the Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup National Final presented by Motul as we look at the results from the Stock 50 class. Chase Jazikoff winning the race. His brother Cooper in second place. Cruz Texter rounds out the podium. The 55 of Braun Masanga, Skylar Laux, Bruno Bolanos in sixth place. Chip Lampy, Michael Sarkis, Tasneem Salem, Zachary Tangredi, and Nico Bandel is the faller there. Man, if that's just the first race, we're going to be in for an amazing championship over these next 2 days. It just goes to show you that it can swing anyway. As we go down with Roger Hayden with Chase, the winner.
Oh, as that race was going down, that Nico was getting closer.
Yeah,
Did it make you nervous?
kinda.
So what was you thinking the whole time when you was out there and you were getting nervous?
I just went faster and faster and faster.
What makes you be able to just get faster as the race goes on like that?
As soon as I see them, I just speed up more.
What are you going to do in race 2 this afternoon? The same thing?
Yeah.
All right, good luck. Back to you, James.
As you just heard from Chase there, as soon as he sees them, he's just going to speed up. That tells you kid's got confidence with the Sonic logo. Maddie Salem there giving him a big hug. That's awesome. You see the camaraderie between all the kids. Everybody's stoked for everyone. That's so awesome. That's what it's all about in the Mini Cup. So pumped. Rode an amazing race, just like you said, continuing to get faster and faster as the laps turn down. Doesn't even look winded. As we look at Mission Foods, an amazing sponsor of this event, the title sponsor of the event, of the Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup National Final presented by Motul. All these kids are going to be racing for a AMA National #1 plate. Tommy Duma pendants. Motion Pro has got some prize packs, Arai helmets, as well as a lot of these OEMs, Honda, Yamaha, and Kawasaki have such strong contingency programs to help these riders and families out to continue, to really show that we want the next generation of riders coming through the feeder system. That's why this national is so cool to have.
And it's just huge, too. You know, like motocross, you see the Loretta Lands, you know, you come from all over and you race the best kids, and kind of like the amateur nationals. Growing up for flat track, you know, I remember I was really good at all my local races, and I thought I was really good, and I went to the amateur nationals, and I kind of learned real quick I had a lot more to go. So it's just really cool to come here and really see where you stack up with. I mean, it's not just the local kids, it's kids from all over the country, California, Florida, Canada, all here racing for these titles.
Yeah, Raj, just to go back to the amateur national thing, I remember showing up thinking I was really good, and then kids come from California and all over the place, and it just shows you that there's just different styles, right? We'd go to different tracks with different tracks, with different corners and different surfaces, and some kids would be faster and whatnot, and we would be faster. And I mean, that's so cool here. You get the different tracks where you can go, and different tracks with different elevation, different asphalts, and things of that nature. So, like you're saying, this is such an awesome event to have.
Not only that, just to be able to ride here at the Motorplex, this track, we've talked about it a lot. I mean, this track for a mini bike is just, you couldn't design one any better than this.
This track is incredible. It seems so fast and flowy. I'm a little bummed myself, Raj, that I didn't bring the leathers and see if I can take it for a lap. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe they'll raise the age limit for you next year.
Maybe. Interesting to hear Chase just say when he saw them, I was just going to speed up. That's somebody who's got some confidence.
Yeah, he just wasn't too worried about it. He thought he had a little bit left in the tank, and his brother there getting second. That family, I mean, they were so excited down there, and that's what it's all about. You talked about wanting to put your leathers on and get out there and ride. When I've seen the contingency from Honda, Yamaha, and Kawasaki in some of these classes, I thought about bringing my leathers too, and I've seen the age gap, and I knew I was out.
Raj, you racing for a buck, man. Just always looking for it. It's so cool. Yeah, Chase and Cooper going 1-2 there. Cruz Texter getting third.
Also got to see the downside of it as well. You know, the rider crashing and being really upset there at the Parc Ferme, so you get to see both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, and to see all the kids, though, supporting each other, right? Getting good camaraderie, if I can say that word. As we move into the GP 160 class.
This is a competitive class right here. A couple riders there right at the front. It seemed like kind of the guys to beat as we get into it. Jay Steele and Connor Raymond, two guys have been going at it for a while this year in this 160 class.
Yeah, and Connor Raymond, he's got his brother Josh Raymond, who's actually at Thruxton this weekend doing the British Talent Cup. As he came through this series, as we have a faller already, the 55.
Sophia Wills-Husen there was going to start 9th, but has a little bit of a problem there. Can't tell if it crashed or a mechanical.
Yeah. See if we can't get her going again.
I think they're just going to try to at least push her off there, so get the bike out of the impact zone. She's still trying, though. They're just going to push it off at this point, unfortunate. Not going to be able to make the race. Oh, she got it going.
Awesome.
Even better.
See if she can't get to the grid as fast as possible to get with the rest of the field.
The leathers don't really look too scuffed up. That's or in the bike. That's why it was hard to tell if
maybe she stalled it.
Yeah.
As we go for the sighting lap here, for the warm-up lap. I expect this race to be incredible.
It's going to be a good one. And we're going to see two guys really go at it. And, you know, we'll see what happens. We get the starting grid there. You see Jay Steele there on pole position. Connor Raymond there going to start in the middle of the front row. Those two guys were just separated by less than a tenth. And then you got Alessandro Gigante there in third. Then Gabe Davis, fourth. Fifth, Blake Sarantino, sixth. Inside of that second row, Parker Booth. Then Gabrielle Gigante, Bibi Martinez, and Sophia, who we've seen have a little bit of trouble on that sighting lap. Looks like she got that squared away, so she'll be starting 9th there on the third row.
I'm really interested to see here about the 97 and the 44 of Jay Still and Connor Raymond. Like you said, 1/10 apart. We'll see who's got the pace over 10 laps. Again, it's a long race here. You've got to be who's going to be able to lead, who's going to be able to chase, and you know it seems like it's dicey if they're going to pass. It seems like it's dicey as we get ready here for the GP 160 race.
See the flagman there with the red flag. Whenever everybody gets set, he will walk off the track, and then it'll be up to the starter. All the riders now will put their bike in gear, and it will be all focused on that light, and it is on and it is off.
There's a big wheelie there from one of the riders as we have one stall on the front. The 98 of Levi Martinez stalls, unfortunately.
See the guys at the front. Looks like Jace was able to get a really good start there from that front row.
As they start working their way through half the track here at MotoAmerica. Ooh, a little leg dangle from the 97 there.
And Levi there, who started on the start, he was able to get a push start and get going. So he's going to start in the back, but he'll be back in the race.
Jay still leading this race, trying to put his head down right away. And we've got a little bit of a gap from the front two as they come across the stripe there. Connor Raymond in second place, just applying so much pressure right away to Chase Dill as they go down the back straight. We'll see if there's going to be a move already. Nope, has a look, can't do anything there.
He got a really good run up that hill, and you can see there, just not really close enough to able to make that pass. And it's going to be tough to pass. You got two guys so close in lap times. It's going to be hard.
Yeah, as we look at Chase Dill, the 97 leading this race with the little leg dangle. I think he's learned that from a couple of the MotoGP guys. Looks really good. Connor Raymond applying a lot of pressure. And you can see just a little bit different riding styles. Chase Dill, a little bit smaller of a rider versus Connor Raymond, just a little bit more upright on the motorcycle. What does that have to do, the different styles? You think it plays into it a little bit, or?
No, I think it's everybody kind of has their own style, and we watch them throughout this race. You can see different parts of the track where one's better than the others. You see Connor really through this first part of the track, how fast he is through the first chicane, and now we're going to go through the second one. And then on the brakes, see the run he gets up the hill? That's where he was strong the previous lap, just not close enough to make the pass.
Yeah, 97 Chase Dill shuts the door on Connor Raymond as we go into another chicane here halfway through this lap. And like you said, Connor Raymond seems like a little bit more, maybe doesn't brake as deep, but carries a little bit more speed and gets good drives. Whereas Chase Dill seems like he's a little bit more aggressive on the entry as we go up to a lap rider, which could change the outcome of this race here. Both riders get through cleanly.
This last part of the track is where Chase is a little bit stronger. You know, Connor was right there, and then, you know, the last 5 or 6 corners, Chase is able to sort it back out a couple tenths where he had it. But look at Connor. Look at this run through the chicane. This last lap, this is where he got the run, where he pulled up beside him through the chicane and up the hill.
And you can just see the differences there. Chase Dill just gets in there so aggressively. There's nowhere to pass. And Connor just gives him a little bit of space, but then rolls the entry and allows himself to get a good run on the exit. And you can see this yo-yo effect.
So this part of the track, Chase is strong, really strong. This next left-hander through here, he's really good. You talked about the riding style, able to get off these corners really well, headed on to the final couple corners. Really just super smooth. And this run that he gets onto the front straightaway through here, you see the rear wheel kind of moving around, able to pull out just a little bit. But Connor stepping it up. Connor did not fall back as much this lap.
As we go into another lap rider here. Oh, they split the rider as Connor Raymond sets the fastest lap of the race of a 55.338. Only roughly around a 10th difference between the two. And this is exactly what you said. Connor is so good coming up this hill, but just doesn't have quite the braking as Chase Dill does. Jace just looks so confident with the front tire, and he's really good at flicking the bike left to right.
And Connor's doing a good job because Jace can hear that. He can hear that bike behind him and hasn't put a wheel wrong. You see now getting toward the end of the track where Jace is a little bit stronger, seems like. But the laps are winding down. We'll see headed on now. Connor's had a great opportunity to be able to follow for a while and know where he's better.
It's going to be interesting here to see if Connor can try to line something up and where he would do it at. I mean, does he surprise him or go early?
See, if you watch him go through this chicane, Chase gets in a little faster, runs a little bit wide. Connor slows down in the middle, and look at the run. And you guys
Oh,
the
here it
difference.
is.
Last lap, he would have went for it.
He's got to go for it. You can see Chase Dale, like I said, is so confident on the front of that motorcycle, leg dangle.
He just really needs to stay just so close to him where he doesn't have to close down those couple bike lengths through that chicane and be there.
It's so different as well when you're applying so much pressure as Connor Raymond is to be so good and change your riding a little bit where he's kind of like having to go in a little bit deeper. Maybe he doesn't want to do that and wants to try to roll, but he can't because he's got Connor Raymond applying so much pressure. So we go 4 laps to go.
4 laps to go, get to the part of the track where we've seen Connor make a couple looks. Here he gets a really good run out of there through this next chicane. So fast through here, both those riders able to get such a good run that time. Chase did a great job. I think he can hear Connor getting close to him in that part of the track.
55.3s for the both of them on that last lap. As we move back, P3, Alessandro, and P4, Gabriel Datus. Back to the front here, the 97 of Jace Dill. Still.
Where do you see the move?
This last corner, I think if Connor can get a good run and do something up the inside and kind of block, I think that's the move, or at the top.
Connor's closer this lap. This lapper might help Connor a little. If he would have went to the inside maybe, but just has to regroup at this point. Not try to that time that he lost. Just don't make it up in one corner. Just try to slowly be there the next lap.
I've always been at fault for that. You know, you lose a little bit of time and then you try to make it all back in one corner. I know you've probably done some yourself, but it's always tough when you're applying so much pressure. And I mean, Jace is just not making a single mistake at the front of this race.
Connor's starting to recover a little bit though as this race goes on. When they come around, they get a couple corners left to finish this lap, and it's only going to be 2 to go.
Raj, in that last lap, they were 55.1s. They are pushing the limit.
It's a good run out of Connor out of this last corner.
We'll see if Connor Raymond can get a run here down this straightaway, going into this next chicane where, Roger, you said he's so strong.
He gives up a little bit on the entry. The exit, he's strong.
Oh, here it is. He's going to make a room. Jace definitely blocks it. You can see Connor trying to open up the lines to try to carry a little bit as we've got another lapped rider coming in. They're both going to clear. Connor applying a lot of pressure.
Connor's looking a little bit racy right now, like he wants to make a move.
Then just when you say that, Jace just extends a little bit here and there. This is where I think there could be a move late because Jace opens it up a lot, whereas Connor runs it straight in and then kind of uses a lot more exit.
Oh boy, lapper.
Uh-oh. Oh, it's back together now. You gotta go.
No, Connor really killed his drive out of that chicane, starting all the way up the hill.
This is gonna be really, really tough for Connor now. Jace just gotta keep it clean this last lap. Keep applying the pressure, but Connor is pushing behind.
He wants to win. He's not thinking about the 4 race points right now. And he's doing it. It might come down to the last corner, James, like you said.
It could. Jace keeping it clean. Connor pushing through the last chicane here. I don't think it's going to be enough, Raj.
He's got not close enough. Heck of an effort this last lap, but he just wasn't able to make the move. We get the checker fast. Chase Dill able to overcome all the pressure from Connor Raymond that whole race. You mentioned it right before they went lights out that was going to be the best race of the day, and what a show.
And it's just race 1, Raj. We've got 3 more to go. I think these guys are going to be going at it.
Just their lapped how much quicker they are than where they qualified. Qualified 55.8, and the race they're doing 55, low 55s. Alessandro there third. Gabriel Datis there fourth. Blake Sarantino there in the top 5.
Just to learn about that much pressure, I mean, it took me a long time in my professional career to really understand how to ride a race from the front. I mean, the kids learning how to do that at such a young age, 10 to 14 years old, is something incredible. And it's a skill that is very difficult to learn. It takes a lot of practice on making sure you find your marks out there and really not looking back, always staying forward. Just as well as Connor Raymond, trying to apply that amount of pressure through the race is a skill in itself as well. And to, try to take shots when you can, but also this is a 4-race series here, and you don't want to give up any points. So there's a lot of stuff going through these kids' minds at a very young age. It is fantastic racing here at the Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup National Final presented by Motul. As we look at our race results from the 160 GP class, Jay Still wins over Connor Raymond. Alessandro, third place. Gabriel Datis. Blake Sorrentino in fifth. Parker Boos. Gabriela Gigante. Sophia and Levi Martinez in P9. We're going to go down with Raj with our winner, Jace Dill.
I was just talking about how well it was for you to be able to withstand that pressure from Connor Raymond that whole race. How was you able to do it?
I don't know, just block them, defend.
Could you hear him behind you that whole race?
Yeah, the whole entire time.
So what do you do going into that second race this afternoon?
I don't know.
Well, good luck. Back to you, James.
As we hear from Jace Dill there, he said he could hear Connor the whole time.
A 7-lap race.
Doesn't quite know. Besides just continue to push, keep looking forward. It's so awesome for these kids here at the Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup National Final presented by Motul. We have such great sponsors on board with Honda, Dunlop, Mission Foods, Motul. Great contingency sponsors with Honda, Yamaha, and Kawasaki. Our product sponsors, Motion Pro, Arai, Tommy Duma, all coming on board here for the first ever national final to win that AMA National Number 1 plate. This beautiful Briggs Stratton Motorplex. And look at the flags. They are whipping right now. It is windy out there, Raj.
Yeah, it's really windy, but it's also a lot warmer than when we was out there earlier today. But you can definitely tell the wind. And when you see these kids come in off the track, they put their bikes on the stand, and they're so little, you can see the wind blowing them around a little bit. 17-mile-an-hour winds we just heard. So think about 6 years old out there on a motorcycle, top of the hill, what it feels like for them with the wind coming in.
As we look here at the Motorplex, this is beautiful scenery. The presentation, amazing. I mean, as a kid, looking at this, showing up to a race, and I mean, I would just feel so pro.
And you talk about they brought in air fence to this track as well. They keep around year-round and be able to, obviously, safety is really important on their list as well. So, like you said, just the elevation and just the corners. And also there's a couple other configurations they can put in as well. So there's a couple corners you can change around if you would like.
And I believe we're going backwards tomorrow. So that's going to throw an entire new wrench into the program. Who's going to be able to learn the track fastest as we look at the MotoAmerica Motorplex here.
See that chicane? That's new for this year. Then kind of another chicane up the hill where we just seen Connor Raymond really quick through there, down into turn 7, and from there, James, we start to kind of go downhill into turn 8.
Yeah, and you can see that's where Connor Raymond was really starting to apply the pressure on Jace there. Going through 11, it goes really flowy through 13, a quick flip-flop, and then as we try to build a little bit of speed through turns 15, 16, and that last lap pass to try to get a win.
And that's the thing, turn 17, you can see the way it opens on the exit. So it gives you the opportunity, if you do the racing line and get a really good run, to open up that inside. But you can just see first part of the track's really fast. The second part of the track is kind of technical. You can see how tight it is through there. So just a great track for these kids to come and learn.
Yeah, the first half of this track super wide open. Getting behind the bubble, using the brakes as best you can. As we saw, Connor Raymond really couldn't apply the pressure there going into turn 7 there. I think that's going to be a passing opportunity he's going to have to look at because he was so good out of that 5-6 chicane, getting a good run. It's going to be something he's going to have to look at.
Maybe just give a little bit more space getting into that second chicane and really, he almost forced his way through, on the couple laps before the end. But just, I think as the weekend goes on, when points are going to become more important, those tight passes that you might have passed on that race, you're not going to pass on them anymore.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see as the riders get more comfortable, right? As they get used to racing. These kids come from all over the country. As they get used to racing these kids more and more, and as they put more and more laps in, get used to the bikes and things of that nature, I think they're going to get a little bit more racy.
Also calming down a little bit. You know how much pressure and how nervous these kids are to be here at this first final for MotoAmerica. Just the nerves of all the stuff that's on the line for them.
Yeah, the first ever Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup National Final presented by Motul. Such an incredible event that they put together here for the kids. As we move into the Street GP class. This class is developed for 12 and up. And I believe Sean Bandel is the father of Nico Bandel.
Yep.
So you can come out here with your son or daughter, have them race, and
you get to have fun also.
Exactly. Jump in the Street GP class as we see one of the riders jump, number 5 there of Sean Bandel. I didn't even know he was wearing a visor there for a second.
It's a good looking Grom.
It looks racy, Raj. Have you rode a Grom?
I have. That's all
okay.
I ride if I do anything on the street.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're all about it.
No, I don't.
Raj, we're going to have to get you
out. I do the Nicky A. Memorial Ride, so
Okay.
it gets used once a year.
Yeah. Such a great event. Cameron Jones on the 11 there. On the 285 of Joshua Rodriguez. If I'm not mistaken, Cameron Jones with CJR Performance, I know Jones Honda, pretty sure it sponsors Ashton Yates in the MotoAmerica Superstock class. As we look at the starting grid here, Cameron Jones is on the pole position, Joshua Rodriguez in second place, and Sean Bandel in third position. But just speaking on Cameron Jones there, I'm pretty sure he does a lot of the ECUs, and he's got a ton of the parts for these Groms. I know he hops up a lot of 50s and the Groms. He's really known in the industry for flashing ECUs and coming with big bore kits and those things.
So you're saying his bike's gonna be fast?
I've got a feeling that he's got a little bit of power on it. Look at that. I think it looks like a factory Honda, man. And they've got great contingency in this class. Honda does. Partner of the Mini Cup National Final.
All these bikes, man, it's
They
just
look
pretty
good.
cool to be able to make them so racy. Come out here, the flagman there only got 3 riders out there. When they all get lined up in their grid spot, he'll walk off the track, and now the light will go on right there, right on the inside of the track. The revs will go up, and the light's out. That was a quick light for these guys.
Cameron Jones takes the lead as there's a battle for second place over the curb there for, I believe, Joshua Rodriguez. Sean Bandel in second place as Cameron Jones stretches out the field, going up the hill here into turn 7.
Yeah, he was really quick through those first 2 chicanes there. You can see he kind of pulled out a little bit of a gap. We talked about the track a couple minutes ago, talking about where it starts going downhill from here. You can kind of see that. And then even for here, downhill a little bit more as they get into this right-hander, which is really downhill there. And that's such a fun-looking corner.
Yeah, as we look at Rodriguez making a move, trying to here with the number 5 of Sean Bando. Maybe goes down 1 too many gears there. This is going to get a little bit racy.
Yeah.
Different lines coming into the final corner here as the 5, Bandel, looking to come across the stripe. Different lines for Rodriguez as he tries to set him up through the first chicane, turns 1 and 2.
Rodriguez is wanting to get by quick. He can look up and see Cameron Jones starting to sneak away.
Look at a little bit of a power difference here. Oh, they're side by side going through the chicane.
Ooh.
Runs over the curb.
Only room for one.
Bandel shuts the door on Rodriguez up into turn 7. Now starting their way down into turn 8 here. See if Rodriguez can regroup and try to attack again, maybe somewhere else.
Different spot, or maybe try to be on the inside headed into that chicane. He definitely has a little bit more pace. Here he goes again.
Ooh.
Makes the move.
Scares Bandel a little bit there, but
little head shake from Rodriguez. He says, oh, Sean's not making it easy on him.
is it going to be a pass in the last corner? Nope, not today. Sean Bandel just not fazed by the pressure of Rodriguez. But you can see the different lines. Rodriguez really trying to open things up and get good runs. As you can see down the back straightaway, they go neck and neck. Grabs another gear here. Does Sean Bandel hold him up? No. Rodriguez is going to take second place.
He just let off the brake and was taking the spot.
We'll see if the 5 can retaliate. Cameron Jones cleared off at the moment with a 59.5. A very fast lap time for Cameron Jones. We'll see if Rodriguez can start to stretch away a little bit here from Sean Bandel.
Also be able to see if Sean's able to kind of latch on and go with him.
7.4 seconds. I don't know if he can latch onto that, Raj, but we go back to the leader here, number 11, Cameron Jones. Cleared off a 59.2. He's pushing with that 9.5 lead of a gap. You can see this is the first time I've seen somebody go through turn 7 really open it up. A lot of the riders have been going really tight on the entry there. You think he's just trying to carry as much speed as possible, Raj?
I think just carrying the speed through there and just being able to kind of figure that track out. I think down through here is the tricky part, James, is where all the corners kind of connect together. You mess up, one corner kind of messes up the whole rhythm. 4 or 5 corners run into together, and you know how it is. You got to hit that first apex.
If you start rushing a little bit, then you're just wide behind the rest of it. I know exactly what you're saying, Raj. As we look at the 285 of Joshua Rodriguez, finding some time. He goes 101.1, so he definitely closes a little bit. We'll see if he can't come across the stripe right now. He goes a 1 minute 0.8. So he's getting faster as the laps go, but definitely can't close anything down on Cameron Jones, who's out front, just cleared off, sailing away.
Yeah, and look at him. I mean, that Grom is working so well for him. We've seen a lot of front chatter in some of the other classes, and that thing just looks like it's on rails.
It's so planted. And it looks tall, Raj, compared to the other ones. It looks like he's got a lot of ground clearance when he leans that Grom over. I think it looks factory. It looks like it looks like as factory as the World Superbikes.
It looks like the World Superbike HRC team.
Such a beautiful motorcycle. Cameron Jones, again, does a lot of the performance parts for the Grom. So if you would expect somebody to have a fast Grom or hopped up, it's going to be Cameron Jones.
You're right, through this part of the track, you can see how he's kind of always right there onto the edge. This is where you were talking about the previous lap, how he brings it way far to the left to get set up for this right-hander.
He's using all the track. He's the first one. It'd be interesting to see if some of the, I mean, it's tough for some of the kids to see because there's so much elevation here, but to see if some of the lines start to change as people get more comfortable. You can see Cameron Jones, I know him. He's had some road race experience. He's, you know, you can see the body position. He's comfortable on this Grom. It definitely has some big bike experience as well. Beautiful Arai helmet. Dainese leathers there. Just putting the whole package together.
Last lap had over 11 seconds of a lead. 1 lap to go. Man, from here he can just kind of cruise on in. This last lap, another 59.9 though. Even though he has a big lead, he hasn't really let off the throttle too much.
That's one thing, Raj, I was wondering. I wonder if a lot of these riders have some sort of lap timer on. I mean, I know I use a lap timer religiously to just know what I'm doing. I wonder how many bikes actually have lap timers, or they're just going off fuel.
I think they, you know, with the way that bike looks, I think there's a lap timer probably on it, so he knows kind of what he's doing, but he might not. I'm sure he's probably looking behind a little bit to kind of gauge where he is.
We continue to look here at Cameron Jones, now 13.13 seconds out front of Joshua Rodriguez, and Sean Bandel rounds out the podium here in the Street GP. Such a great class.
Cameron Jones never put a wheel wrong, led that from flag to flag. What a win for him down there. Best lap time, 59.2. Just so impressive on a Grom.
Very impressive on a Grom. This thing looks trick, dude.
Joshua Rodriguez there comes home in second, and Sean Bendel is going to end up third there as this race comes to an end. Man, that was fun watching Cameron on that Grom. You know, I've never really seen one out on a road race track like that, and looked like a lot of fun.
Raj, next year we're going to get you out here on the Grom. You're going to be riding that thing twice a year.
I'm gonna ride his.
You think you get sponsored?
There won't be any excuses then, so I better not.
You got to chase for that Honda contingency, Raj. When you go down and interview him, you got to ask if you can get we'll put a GoPro on, you can do a lap. So we look at Cameron Jones coming into Parc Ferme as Roger Hayden heads down there. And going to get an interview with our winner here at the Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup National Final presented by Motul. The results: Cameron Jones wins that one with a convincing lead of 15.5 seconds. Joshua Rodriguez in second place, trying to find some time towards the end of that race. And third place, number 5, Sean Bandel. The father, Nico Bandel, rounds out our podium for the Street GP Class 12 and up. And there's also different manufacturer. Cowie is involved with the Z125. None here, but there's different manufacturers here. But we're going to go with Roger Hayden down with Cameron Jones, our winner.
Yeah, Cameron Jones, what a ride. Was it as easy as it looked on TV?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. This track, they did a really good job on the layout. There's a little bit of everything. There's got a right-hander that reminds me of that Barber Museum, and yeah, it was. We got a good package on this thing. We spent a lot of time on it, so the bike definitely makes it on the easy side. But went out and pushed and had fun. It was a good time.
All right, well, good luck in that race this afternoon, and send it back to you, James.
Your sighting lap will be at 3:05.
So that's Cameron Jones there, the winner of the Street GP. As we round out our first races of the day, we're going to take a 20-minute break, and we'll be back with Stock 110 class for the second races of the day. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you soon.
Welcome back to the Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup National Final presented by Motul here at the Briggs Stratton Motorplex at Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. As we get ready, everybody had one race already. Now we're getting ready, exact same order, exact same classes, and getting ready for the second race starting up here pretty soon. I'm Roger Hayden. Alongside me, James Rispoli. James, what was your takeaway from race one?
It's getting racy, Raj. The Stock 110 class, definitely one of our biggest classes that we have here at the National Final. And I got to say, these kids are getting racy. They're racing for that AMA National #1 plate, as well as so many other prizes from an amazing sponsors that we have here. As we get things rolling here for the Stock 110 class, the bikes are going to head out on track for the sighting lap. They're going to give them that sighting lap, come to the grid, and then we're going to do the warm-up lap, just as we do in the National Series for MotoAmerica, just giving these kids the same procedures that we use in the National Series to get them up to speed, to learn, and to hone their craft here at this beautiful track, Raj.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful day as well. You couldn't ask for much better weather. And, you know, I like you following the MotoAmerica procedures for these kids. Just, you know, as you mentioned, when they move up to, you know, all these kids, their goal is to be in Junior Cup one day. And one of these days, they're going to do this starting procedure at a big race. So it's great for them to get a good opportunity. We look at the schedule for race 2 this afternoon. We're going to start with the Stock 110 race. Then we're going to go to the GP 190 race, then 445 Eastern Stock 50, and then the best race of the day in race 1 at 5:05 p.m. Eastern, the GP 160, and then the final race of the day at 5:25 p.m. Eastern, the Street GP Stock 125 race 2. So we still got a lot of racing left to go.
Yes, we do, Raj. And I got to tell you, some of the success stories that we've had here, including, you know, Kayla Yakov and Rossi Moore coming through the Mini Cup Series, attributing their Mini Cup success to moving up to the National Series. As we look at the Motorplex here, 0.6 miles in length, 10 left-hand corners, 7 right-hand corners. Raj, where do you think it's going to be pivotal to make passes here?
I think into that turn 7, through the first part of the track with all those chicanes is really fast, and then the second part of the track where it's tight and technical, maybe be able to sneak up the inside of somebody, but it's a lot easier. If you can get a run out of one of those where they're at right now, you know, this is the first chicane, and you'll notice it starts going uphill from there and be able to get a good run as we look at the starting grid here for Stock 110. On pole is Gabriel Daddis, Blake Sarantino second, Christian Berlowitz rounding out the front row. Second row and fourth, Ethan Reardon, Chase and John Sarkis there rounding out the second row. Then we go down to the third row. We got Talon Nelson, Jera Masenga, Israel Kavasas, and then the last row there, Karina Tancred and Saki Sialan. We talked about the first race earlier today. Gabriel Davis won that race today, so those guys are going to have a little bit of work to do here in this second race.
Cleared off at the front there with a 7.4 second lead with Blake Sorrentino in second, Christian Berlowitz. Those are the top 3 we should be looking for as we get things ready here to start the race for the Stock 110 class.
All these riders come around. You see the red flag there at the start of the grid. Let the riders know that, you know, they're not ready for the lights to come on yet. We got a couple guys that are trying to get in their right grid spot. Don't forget these kids are really young. Some of them 8 years old. See the starter heading off. The light on the inside of the track will go red as the revs come up. And what a great start from pole position as they head right down into that first chicane.
Yeah, and the 111, Blake Sarantino in second place, trying to apply some pressure on Gabriel Davis there. As we see they're going neck and neck going into that second chicane. It looks like, I believe the 111 of Sorrentino gets the whole shot. We'll see if the 37 of Davis can do something up into turn 7. Oh. And it looks like the 111's going to lead us going down into turn 8, 37, applying some pressure here early on in race 2 in stock 110.
Yeah, that's a great start for Blake, now able to kind of get out front, and maybe he can set the pace for this second race this afternoon. And Gabriel's in a little bit different spot than he was in race 1, so it's going to be interesting. It's kind of a flip-flop from what we've seen earlier.
Yeah, and I believe that is the 17 of Christian Berlowitz in 3rd place. They're keeping it tight here early on this first lap. Remember, this is a 10-lap race as they come to the stripe here, as the 37 starts to apply a little bit of pressure, opening up into turn 1 and 2. It is Christian Berlowitz in the 3rd place position, trying to, as you see, he runs a little bit wide, just trying everything he can to get on the back of these riders.
Yeah, right there. All 3 of those guys pushed hard through that first chicane. See them coming up here in that second chicane. These top 3 guys have kind of separated themselves from the rest of the pack.
And you can see Blake Sarantino, the 111, going tight into turn 7 as the 37 is going to make a pass into turn 8. Just out breaks the 111. Oh, goes up the inside, pushes him wide. He's off. The 111 is off, but comes back on and loses the position to Christian Berlowitz.
Now he's got some time to make up there. That was a strong pass. Thought it was a good pass. He just didn't want to give up the spot, and neither one of them wanted to let the other one lead.
Roger, it was a braking contest. It was who's going to let off the brake or go in deeper. As it looks like the 17, though, does close up, going to the stripe, 8 laps remaining. We'll see if Blake can recover. Little argy-bargy going on early on, Raj.
You can see now, look at these guys. Look at Christian there, able to close up now. Looks like he wants to make a move, maybe.
Well, maybe he saw the move being made by Gabriel there, and just gives him something to look at. I mean, what's really cool is to see the improvement from race 1.
Totally different race. Gabriel won the first race by 7.5 seconds. Blake was 11 seconds behind in that first race. What a change. Now he's fighting for the win.
And we need the 111 of Blake Sarantino. Got to cool down. Probably running off the track as we see a pass right here. And I believe that's the 17 of Christian Berlowitz makes a pass in probably one of the most technical parts of the track.
Yeah, I was just able to, where when the line kind of opened up and he went for it. We see when he was right there in second, he was looking racy.
All right, so the 37 now in second place. We've got Christian Berlowitz leading the charge in stock 110 with Gabriel Datis in second and Blake Sarantino in third. Previously ran off the track, starting to recover. These 3 have stretched away by 7.1 seconds over Ethan Reardon in fourth, but it's down to these 3 already. So good, the 37 out of turn 7 there, going down the hill into turn 8.
Gabriel strong through there. We seen him make that pass a couple laps before there. Looked like he was looking at it that last lap. And don't forget, we got 2 races today. We got 2 races tomorrow. It's the best, combined score after 4 races, so could really shake up the points headed into tomorrow.
As we see Datis trying to line things up, as you can see, he's going a little bit wider on entry and trying to make a tighter apex, and then pick the motorcycle up, trying to do different lines there on the 17. But the 17, wow, he's an amazing race, like a massive comeback, and we said a learning curve from the 17 as the 37 is going to outbrake.
Makes the pass right there on the brakes again, just lets off the brakes a little bit sooner, wanted the spot.
I'm just wondering if Gabriel Datis has got some more in the bag, or some more time in the bag, or is this everything he's got?
He's not. This first race today, he did a 1:01.7, so he kind of doesn't have the lap times there. We talk about the sun's out, track temperature's up. Maybe it's kind of slowing the track down a little bit.
As we go into the part of the track where it's super technical, the 17 of Christian was really good. As you can see, it rolls back up on the 37 right now. We'll see if a pass can be made. Just falls in line as Blake, the 111, running the 3rd place. Not quite able to get on the back of the front 2 here. But the 17 applying pressure.
He's right there now. He's in the spot to try to make a pass up this hill. He's just not getting quite the run out of those chicanes, but he is right there. If any mistake is made by Gabriel, he's going to be there to capitalize.
Yeah, and these are the top three are on Kawasaki 110s, and they're stock. You can see they are so equal, and so you can see when they do get a good run, it's all because of having good flow or good roll speed through the corner that allows them to carry that straightaway speed. All comes from the corner. As we look at the 17 roll through that really tough, difficult right-hander, Raj, as we get back into the technical part of this motor complex.
You can see just the lines between the first two kids, just how different they are on corner entry and also on corner exit.
The 17 applying pressure on Gabriel Datis, Christian Berlowitz, trying to find a way around here as they start to stretch away a little bit from Blake, the 111, now putting a second into him.
Yeah, he's lost a little bit of time. These two kids have just kind of slowly chipped away the last couple laps. Falling back by about a second, but we've seen that early on in the race when he ran off track, lost a little bit of time, and he was able to catch the two back. So we'll see if he can do that after the next couple laps.
And if they get a little racy, we've seen that they've been able to come back quite a bit. I mean, we know in racing, when you start making passes and, you know, really hard passes, it slows you down. As we look at the 17, is he going to make a move? He doesn't.
He's looking. If it last lap, I think he's going to go for it in that spot there because the door is open.
It looks like he's got just a little bit more corner speed, and it seems like he can carry that speed on the exits, and as these corners kind of snake down like S's, he's able to kind of make a move as they get by the 83, a lapper of Soksan Allen. So we go with 3 laps to go here. The 37 still leads 17, Christian Berlowitz, and the 111 of Blake. Lap time staying consistent around the low 102 marks. Blake Sarantino actually sets a personal best here late in the race.
You mentioned it, Christian Strong. Look how he makes up some time on the brakes there. How he kept so much roll speed through there and what it does going down into this hill. This next left-hander coming out here is where we've seen him put himself on the inside. Just not close enough.
He's got to stay on the track, Raj. He's got to stay on the track. But it is definitely something he's been in the middle of the corner. Whatever the style difference, he seems to get in there maybe a little bit slow, but not lean it over so far and just carry that roll speed. But Gabriel Datis showing him the way, looking at a pit board, it looks like, or something. Stay forward, Gabriel.
You can see, look back a little bit there through the chicane to see if he had a gap, and all he's seen was a big 17 there right on him.
And I mean, it's definitely got to be different for him going from 7.4 seconds in that first race to now just having so much pressure the whole race from the 17, and a big adjustment from the 17 just finding it. And that's what's so cool about, you know, these kids racing is they find so much time.
Big time, just a complete different race than we've seen this afternoon's race 1. And the points, you know, this is huge through here. You know, you want to push hard and try to get that win, but you also need to collect the points.
You can see Christian Berlowitz, this is where he's been so strong, is coming through this S section late in the lap as we go into the last final corner, as we go, I believe, to the white flag is coming out now. 1 lap to go. Raj, what do we
right
think?
There. Christian's there. We've seen him go really quick through this chicane previous laps there, trying to get a good run. Look at him setting up on the outside, now going to try to go on the inside.
Last laps were the fastest lap of the race of a 101.6 by Christian Berlowitz. As they go through that crucial chicane to go up the hill here, Raj, is something going to happen in turn 7?
I don't think he's close enough, but this is where we've seen him kind of starting that run. They're going to come into lap traffic as well.
They're neck and neck going into turn 8. Raj, the 37, still leads the 17. Lap traffic's going to be crazy as they go into this technical spot where the 17 has been so good. Do they both get by? They squeeze by Raj.
Barely made it. Christian there lost a little bit of time there toward the exit. We're going to get the part of the track where Gabriel, we've seen him kind of pull away a little bit, but he's got a lapper he's got to deal with also.
I think it's going to be a little too late for the 17. Last corner now. He's trying to roll that big Kawasaki to the finish, but it's going to be the 37 that leads us by with Christian Berlowitz in second place. The 111 rounds out the top three. Blake Sarantino.
Man, what a race. What a big change for second and third as far as back they was in that first race today. And you mentioned these kids find so much time and just this really good ride by them, and they put on a show.
That's what I love about the stock class, right, is the bikes are so close. If you just make some riding adjustments and you learn a little bit, you can be right there with the leader. And, yeah, there's going to be little intricacies between the riders and the bikes and things of that nature, but that's what I love about the stock class is it's really about just learning and talent to get them getting faster.
It's not about who can build the best bike. You know, stock and, you know, everybody's out here has equal machinery.
Some of the other riders finishing, but the 37 brings it home. Second win of the day. And that's going to change things up in the points a little bit with Christian Berlowitz finishing second over Blake Sorrentino. As we look at the results for the stock 110 class. In this race 2 in the Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup National Final presented by Motul, we have Gabriel Datus that wins the race, followed by Christian Berlitz finishing second, Blake Sarantino in third, Ethan Reardon in fourth, Talon Nelson fifth, John Sarkis sixth, Chase Jazikov seventh, Israel Kavasot in eighth, Jira Masanga in ninth, and rounding out your top 10 is Karina Tangretti. As we go with Roger Hayden down with our winner, Gabriel Datus.
Yeah, Gabriel, that was an awesome ride, a lot different than the first race that we seen earlier today. How was you able to withstand that pressure throughout the whole race?
I just try and just send it and see what happens, and I try and limit the chatter and just keep myself in front of the pack.
Tomorrow the track changes. What are you looking forward to tomorrow?
I actually like the track the other way, so I think I'm going to do really good tomorrow.
All right, well, good luck. We'll be watching.
Thank you.
Back to you, James.
Gabriel Datus just making a statement there. Says he's just been absolutely sending it, and you can see it. That was an amazing race between Gabriel Datus and Christian Berlowitz, applying so much pressure towards the middle and end of that race. And you can see he's trying to minimize the chatter. We were seeing that earlier on in the day as it was maybe a little bit colder, or they're just trying to get more comfortable on the bike, but there's way less chatter coming from the motorcycle. Maybe they made a couple adjustments there, but it is so good to see Gabriel Datus just sending it, as well as seeing Christian Berlowitz make a good change there and find some points there to
3 minutes.
Close in on that championship. And we've got Blake Sarantino rounding out in that top 4, finishing 4.5 seconds or 4.8 seconds behind the leader, is much better than the 7.4. Everybody just continuing to get faster, but man, Gabriel just sending it.
That's what he said. You could hear him behind him. It was just getting quicker. Winning that first race and winning, you know, again, you can just tell the confidence in his interview from the first interview after race 1 all the way into race 2 and talking about going into tomorrow. He likes the track better going backwards, so it could be scary for the competition.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to start clawing some points back, and it's tough for the 111 there, losing a little bit of points to Christian Berlowitz there. I mean, the points, you don't ever want to think about the points, but you got to. You got to start playing the points game.
Especially with, like, Gabriel, he's did a solid day today, and he's put himself in a good spot where tomorrow, if he didn't feel really good and strong in one of the races, he doesn't have to go out there and really push for the win. But Christian and Blake, those guys tomorrow, they're going to push the issue a little bit because they're behind.
Yeah, definitely, Raj. And we'll see who makes adjustments overnight. I mean, some riders, like you said, are going to go a little bit faster on the other different directions. I mean, it's going to be tight and technical in the beginning of the track, and it's going to get fast and flowy as they come down that long straightaway tomorrow. So it's going to be interesting. But everybody is trying to race for that AMA National Championship, that #1 that Raj, when we were kids, we sought off so much, and we tried to get so much growing up. This is such a great experience for these kids.
I mean, just huge for them to be able to do the #1 plate. That was always awesome, and so much that goes with it. It's huge. Like you said, to win an AMA title for these young guys is something that we grew up doing, and you know, it's the inaugural event, so you're always going to be part of the, you know, the first champion of whatever class that it is.
Raj, I still have mine. I still have I still have my #1 plates from racing. It means something growing up, and it is something to race for. And as you said, the first ever Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup National presented by Motul, something that is so cool for these young kids to be a part of, and the first ever one, the inaugural one, at an amazing track here at the Briggs Stratton Motorplex.
Not only the national title, but now as we get ready for the GP 190 class, top 2 in this class becomes Dunlop Elite Amateur Program. So as we see the championship standings of the 110 come up now, Blake Sarantino, you see him, he's 14 points back, and Christian Berlitz is 14 back as well. So those two got a little bit to make up. Ethan Reardon there in 4th. John Sarkis there 30 points back. And you can go down there. Pretty tight battle from 5th down to 10th.
Everything to play for here with the unofficial points results showing us right now. But it's going to be tough to close in on Gabriel Davis, 37. Been so dominant today. But it's good to see the tide for 2nd and 3rd. Everybody chasing that #1 plate. As we go to the 190 GP class, Matty Salim, dominant in that first race. Having troubles earlier today at a qualifying. We'll get you back up to speed. Had a blown motor. They rebuilt it. Missed the warm-up lap. Then there was a crash, so they put him back in. And he came through the field from the back row to win the race. Something pretty crazy for your first race here at the national final.
Yeah, and just the confidence that he has right now, you can just see it in his riding, that start in the back and be leading by that first lap. But we've seen in the previous race could be totally different. As the flagmen, they go for their warm-up lap now. You can see them, I mean, just ready to get out there. And that's important in this GP 190 class, in this warm-up lap, to get some heat in those tires.
As we look at race 2 here, the GP 190, we've got Matty Salim on pole position. Kenzie Matsudura in 2nd place. Ulysses Weirunch in 3rd place. Going to that 2nd row, Williams Delu, Roman Darby rounding out the top 5 on that 2nd row. Who's going to be able to go with Matty Salim here? Who's made some adjustments? Have they? I mean, is Kenzie going to be able to try and find a little bit of speed? Maybe connect the dots a little bit, Raj? What do you think here? I mean, Matty's been so dominant in that first race.
I think if somebody's going to do it, it's going to be Kenzie. Definitely, he's won, Ovalle races before and has a lot of experience. Got to follow Matty a little bit in that last race, and hopefully maybe picked up a couple things that he can carry on today. But we're about to find out. As this flagman heads off the track, the red light is about to come on. You can see the focus as the red light is on, and it is off. It was a quick light.
Marty Salem gets an amazing jump into turn 1 and 2. It looks like Kenzie was right behind him trying to get it. Look at that, already trying to apply some pressure, not allowing Marty to get away as we go into the second chicane here.
You can see Kenzie right away does not want to let Marty get away, and that's what you have to do when the rider in front of you has a little bit better pace. You got to kind of strike early.
Wow, you can see on the brakes there, Kenzie down into turn 8, really pushing that Dunlop front tire, trying to keep Marty in sights. We'll see how Marty comes through the last chicane here, trying to put a little bit of distance between himself and Kenzie.
Just look how hard they're pushing. Watch him coming out this last corner. You can see just fighting for grip.
That Dunlop rear tire is absolutely squealing through the last corner there. It's interesting, though. You look at Kenzie, definitely a little bit more aggressive under the braking. You can see closes up a little bit, but just loses that little bit of drive. But keeping Marty honest early on here.
Staying right there, and that's what he wants to do, just try to force a mistake. If possible, you know, last lap he was about almost a second back, and he just has to fight through these first couple laps and try to be there toward the end.
And as we saw, anything can happen, right? This is a long race. This is only lap 2 of 10. If you could just continue to put pressure on Marty, maybe there's a mistake that happens.
And that's all you can do. We've seen Marty's had a couple engine problems and mechanicals this weekend as well. So you just got to keep fighting. That first part of the track, Marty is strong, and then Kenzie, toward those last couple corners, is able to put it together. But look how fast they are, James, through this chicane there, using the curb on the entry and on the exit.
Yeah, Marty just takes a big look back there as we go to 5, 6. Oh, Marty takes a lot of curb. They both do. They take the left curb and the exit right curb as they start opening up here for turn 7, driving down the hill for that downhill turn 8 corner. But I got to tell you, 53.9 for Kenzie. That's faster than he's done, I believe, in the first race. And keeping Matty honest, does a 53.4, so definitely stretching out the 1.4 as we move back to the 3rd and 4th place here.
Have them a good little battle going as well.
That is the 24 of William Dalu in 4th place, applying a lot of pressure on the 64 of Ulysses as they continue to push battles all over the track here at MotoAmerica.
These two also keeping the leaders a lot closer this race as well.
Yep, Kenzie there fires in a 53.8, still a little bit slower than Matty Salem, but it's only 1.5. Still keeping pressure.
What do you do, James, when you're in a race like this and, you know, you're Kenzie and you're just trying to fight for every tenth that you can get?
You got to stay perfect. You got to try to continue to fight. As we see a big lunge down in from the 24, William Dalu throws it under 64, and I believe that all came from going down into turn 8. Ulysses ran a little bit wide, and then it just set it up to where William was able to just run down into that right-hander, make the pass as this battle rages on going into turn 1.
Yeah, these two are still going at it through there. You mentioned that mistake that he made. It just killed his drive going into that down here little bowl corner in that right-hander.
We'll see here if Ulysses can make a run into turn 7. Oh, getting so close. As this is where we saw the mistake before. Little different line choice there, Raj.
Was a lot closer on the inside. This is where the pass was made the previous lap, and looks like William through here looking pretty strong as we get toward the end of this lap.
They start snaking their way through the final part of the track. Nothing between the 24 and 64. Different lines. As you can see as they come across the stripe, 0.1 in between as they start lap 5.
Seen that chicane, watching them, their lines through there, how different they are. You can see trying to set up a move. God, he's strong on the brakes.
It's interesting they're not taking any curbs there, Raj, from the leaders. turn 7. They start the drive down the hill into turn 8. It looks like Williams getting great exits.
When we talked about, gaining a lot on the brakes, but that kills your drive on the exit, so it's kind of hard to find that as he's there.
The 64 applying so much pressure. They're side by side through the last part of this track. The 24 of William Delu really trying to hold off Ulysses here as they roll through. Oh, so tight, the 64 on the way out as they drag race going down the front straightaway. It's just a battling act right now.
Just seems like they're just so close where the one makes up some time, the next corner, the other one pulls it back. You see the brakes there, how close they bring it down, but look, it just kind of kills the drive. Maybe bring the brake marker back a little bit where you don't just, don't make up so much on the entry where you lose more on the exit.
You think they got a brake marker, Raj? You think it's all off field?
It's all off field. It's all off from the kid in front of you brakes, and then I'm braking.
Yeah, right. But it's interesting to see the difference between the two riders here. It's the 24 tries to put a couple bike lengths in front of Ulysses here as we get late into this race, coming into the final part of the track, the last corner now. This is where the line choice is so different. We got 40-plus feet in this last corner, and they're finally kind of nose to tail. Doesn't want him to get away because points. 3rd and 4th place is a big jump.
Huge jump, and you can see right here. Watch the move on the brakes. See how it closes in, but then he loses a little bit more on the exit. That lap, though, he did a lot better job through there.
And look at the difference between lap times here. I mean, we're talking within the same 10th pretty much the whole time until that lap 7. So they're both, and we've got a big lunge into turn 8 right there.
That would have been a brave pass.
I don't know if race 2 here is where you want to do it, but I guess we have overnight to rebuild the bike if something does happen, right?
Marty at the front has pulled out to almost a 6-second lead at this point. So he's out cruising along like he did race 1, just putting those laps together. And it's hard when you look at his race pace all within a 10th. It's just incredible to be able to do that at such a young age.
Yeah, and we have a great drone shot here that you're going to start to see the yo-yo effect between the 24 and 64 as they race on. William Daly versus Ulysses Wayrod. As we go up into turn 7, we start to make the drive down the hill. Great drive from Ulysses there into turn 8 as we go through the flip-flop. Go back to the leader here, the number 10, Madi Salem, gets the white flag. He just looks so comfortable.
God, the confidence, the way he rides, not looking back, just slowly, early on in that race, he had that pressure, but he didn't buckle. Slowly he was able to kind of pull away that last lap, a little over 5-second lead.
Just collecting points as we go back to this battle for 3rd and 4th. Raj, is it going to happen?
We've seen they go through this chicane, the run up the hill there. I don't think that it's going to be a big lunge if he goes for it. I think he's too far back. But we've seen in this next left-hander, he's tried to make a huge lunge, and there he is.
Is he going to do it?
Not close enough.
Just shuts the door on the 64. Hand off the handlebar. Madi Salem takes the win there. Kenzie rounds out as we go back to this battle. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it.
Maybe something on that last corner, maybe get a good run.
Oh, it's tough.
Just not close enough, but he's going to get a run on the inside.
No, it's a drag race. It's a drag race. Did he get it?
It's on the live timing and scoring.
.050. William Dalu, the 24, beats the 64 of Ulysses by 5 thousandths.
What a battle. He said it might come to a drive out of the last corner.
And you can see the different lines there, Raj, coming out of the last corner. It's so wide that if you can get in a little bit wider and get the thing turned and pointed, you can put the power down on the 190 GPs.
When you use that real long line, really wide exit, you're on the side of the tire for so long, it's hard to get a good run where, as you mentioned, kind of square it up a little bit more and get a good run.
just fighting for grip on those Dunlop tires. Everybody on Dunlop tires here for the Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup National Final, presented by Motul. That was a great race. Wow, I cannot believe came down to the start finish, a photo finish with Ulysses setting the fastest lap. As we look at the race results, Madi Salem is your winner, followed by Kenzie Matsudara, third Williams Delu, fourth Ulysses Weyrach, and rounding out your top 5, Roman Darby. As the riders roll into Parc Ferme. We are going to some of these great sponsors we have. And we're going to send it down to Roger Hayden with our winner, Madi Salem, the number 10.
Marty, you did the double today. Tell us about your race.
Oh, yeah, I had a good start, and, yeah, I was just trying to maintain my gap, trying to get good lap times, just, like, not making any mistakes, build a gap, and I did it.
When you're out there, what part of the track that you feel like you're gaining the most time at?
I don't really know, to be honest.
How's the bike feeling? We've seen a couple problems today. How'd everything feel that race?
Oh, everything's good. Thanks to my dad, too. Change the motor and stuff. But, yeah.
All right. Well, good luck tomorrow. Great job today. Back to you, James.
Nice. Madi Salem there having a dominant performance here in race 1 and race 2. Getting congratulations. Just looking so comfortable on that 190. You got the 24 there. Talking that awesome third place. Barely squeaking by. As we're going to look at the point standings from day 1. Madi Salem leading the points with Kenzie Matsudara 10 points behind. Ulysses in third place with 39 points, 21 behind. Fourth, William Delu. Fifth, and rounding out your top 5, Roman Darby. And these points can change all the time. That's why you're going to continue to race as hard as possible and fight for those third and fourth places, because every single point matters in this Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup presented by Motul. Some amazing sponsors that we have here on board: Mission Foods, Motul, Dunlop, our official tire. Some great contingency sponsors from our OEMs with Honda, Yamaha, and Kawasaki. Our great product sponsors: Motion Pro, Arai Helmets, Tommy Duma, Fine Jewelers, everybody racing for a pendant, and of course, that AMA National #1 Championship. As we start to get set for our next class is the Stock 50. Look at that. We've got Lilo and Stitch character on the back there. That is really cool. I don't remember having cool leathers like that growing up. Man, that is awesome. We've got Lux there, the 53. Is that an Alpine Star suit? Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Wow, those are beautiful leathers. That is so cool. A tech airbag. I mean, it just goes to show you the technology that's come through, and just it's coming down towards, you know, the kids. I mean, an airbag.
To make that suit for such a young kid, it looks good, and
It looks
also
awesome.
the airbag as well.
Definitely, we got the zebra on the left side there.
Look at all these young kids. They're already at the end of pit lane. They cannot wait to get this race going.
I love it. this is one of our biggest classes with 10 entries here. As we see this class really start to take off, the stock 50 class. Everybody in this one on a stock Honda CRF 50. Honda obviously having an amazing contingency program. Raj.
Yeah, that's awesome. To come here and be able to fight for some of that Honda money that they have here. And there's a lot up for grabs this weekend too. It's pretty impressive. And all these kids in this class ages from 6 to 8. So we have some young ones out there.
And we got to take a look at Nico Bando, 7 years old. He's on a different tire, right? We had a look through Parc Ferme earlier today, and he's running in a rain tire, which is a little bit softer than everybody else that's on the TT93 GP Dunlop tire. So it'll be interesting to see if that helps him or hurts him, or that's really the only difference between maybe some bar changes, but everything's is bone stock.
He had a great race one, caught the leader last lap, couple corners to go in second place, crashed out. So we'll see what that rain tire does, and if he can't maybe get a little bit better start where he doesn't have to push so hard toward the end of the race.
Whoa,
they're
already
fighting
getting racy on the way out of pit lane, Raj. As we get the sighting lap.
They're already, look at them passing each other already. The race has already started for them.
Another notable mentions is Skylar Locks. He's a dirt tracker, races 50 and 65s in dirt track.
First time on pavement this weekend?
Yeah. What a way to come to the national final. Being your first time on pavement, but he's doing really, really, really well.
Yeah, top 5 that race won. So for your first weekend, the AMA National Final, you got to be feeling pretty good about that.
And I believe that is Nico Bando right there out front. Looks like they got the bar straightened out on that motorcycle, that CRF, and looking to just put in some good laps because hasn't rode the motorcycle since the last time crashed.
And the bars were definitely bent a little bit.
I think the bars are still bent, Raj. So we'll see if that has any effect with Nico. His father, Sean, was raced in the street GP class. So maybe give him a couple tips.
Get her dialed in.
As we see the stock 50 class get ready. Here. Whoa, that wind is picking up. You can see the red flag there held by the MotoAmerica race official walking off now. And we get ready for our warm-up lap. As the riders fan out on this beautiful Road America track here at the Motor Complex. Warming up those tires, Raj.
Yeah, we look at the starting grid. Even though we already had race one, the starting grid stays the same for these guys. And on pole position, the race one winner. Right there, you see Chase Jazik off, Nico Bando, Cruz Texter there third. Cooper, his brother there with a really good first race, ended up second, starting fourth in this one. Bron Masanga, Skylar Locks there rounding out the second row. Then you see Michael Sarkis, Chip Sampley, Bruno Bolanos. And then the last row, Tasneem Salem and Zachary Tancred rounding out the fourth row. Nice, as you mentioned, a nice grid.
And this grid has grown quite a lot since last year. They've really grown this class, and it's really where these kids get to ride against other kids on stock motorcycles. They're all on the same motorcycle, bone stock. As you see Cruz Texter there, backed by Roof Systems. We expect him to be pretty quick today. And this is the only race, Roger, you said they're allowed to have a mechanic or father, family member, crew member to help them, as these kids are so young, 6 to 8 years old, to get them lined up so that they're going the right spots.
Yeah, just make sure, be able to tell them where to look, too. Make sure they're looking at that flagger. Make sure they're, when he gets ready to walk off, they'll give him a little bit more time. The light goes on. And the light is off.
Cruz Texter gets a massive wheelie off the line there. Wow, how did he hold that one together in the second place? But I think it's the number 1 of Jazikoff. Chase Jazikoff leading, but see if Cruz Texter can put some pressure going into turn 5 and 6.
That was a way to wheelie like that, not lose any time. I mean, he just stayed right there with it.
And there's a big move there from the rider in third place. Not sure who that is yet, but trying to make some ground early on. As the riders start to stretch out, the top 4 starting to stretch out, Cruz Texter says, hey, Chase, I'm not going to let you go today.
Look at him. He's latching right on it from that first race. Has a couple things that Cruz wants to work on this race. See his lines there really good into that right-hander, and able to stay right there.
I think that's the number 3 of Michael Sarkis in third place, jumping the curb there, feeling a little bit more comfortable. I will say I noticed a massive style change from the number 3 behind these guys, where he's hanging off a lot more. But we're looking right here, the number 1, Chase Jazikoff versus Cruz Texter in second place on the 26, getting tucked in there. We got the number 3.
Look at Cruz.
Oh, that is, my apologies, Cooper, his brother Jazikoff, in third place there, as we see the top 5 start to stretch away.
Look at Cruz looking on the inside. Just not close enough. We've seen this early on in race 1. These five kids were battling it pretty hard.
We see Nico Bandel in the 5th place there, maybe just trying to get back comfortable on the motorcycle and get a little bit more comfortable after that crash, trying to get back up in this lead group.
You know how it is, James, when you're young. What's a young rider when he has a crash? You get back out there. How do you put it behind you right away and go racing?
You've got to just go back out there and try to send it, as Marty would say, as we have a neck-and-neck battle. The number 1 trying to hold the position, Chase, over Cruz Texter. Seems like he's found a little fire from the race 1 to race 2.
Cruz a lot more aggressive this race here. Looks like he's riding like he's mad.
Oh, you've got his father's the bear. Corey Texter gave him a talking to, but Cruz Texter definitely finding some pace for race 2 here. It's awesome. These 5 riders have stretched apart. We got to remember, Cruz Texter normally races just dirt track, hasn't done a ton of road racing experience, so probably getting more comfy as the race goes, as his brother is in a sandwich of Chase and Cooper. We've got 1 rider down, the 95.
Up and okay off the track. MotoAmerica official there helping him get started and get back in the race. Just see how small these riders are.
It's good we got a MotoAmerica official there holding them up.
I think he's going to let the leaders go through here and then put him right back on track, making sure he can still half the race to go, so the kid will still get 5 laps in.
And look at this race getting tight. These 5 have stretched away. Looks like the fastest lap has gone to Bron Masanga there in 4th place of a 1:12.2. And the line choice is starting to become a little bit different. They're all getting tight down the front straightaway. Raj, they go across the line going into turn 1 with 4 laps to go.
There's just nowhere to go. They're going into these corners 4 wide. We see a good move there on the outside.
Looks like the 55 of Bron Masanga there trying to race Cooper. Doesn't quite get it done. And it's so interesting. These kids are just learning every single lap, and they're just running in all these different lines. As we look at Nico Bandel rolling around the outside, trying to latch onto these front 3, but it is the number 1, Chase Jazikoff, who leads them. Not really leaning off too much, staying kind of in the middle of the seat.
Herman Cruz, the rider in second, kind of got the same sort of riding style. Different lines, but same style.
You look at Chase out front, maybe a little bit tight on entry, and then using all that track on that CRF 50. Cruz opening things up, really trying to carry the roll speed, and you can see the different lines here. Raj, maybe a move down the front straightaway.
A little bit too far back. We see that this race, all these riders are within 1 second.
This is like a Moto 3 race, Raj, and it looks like Nico Bandel goes 12-1 across the line. So 55 tries to roll in on Cooper, see if he can't roam around the outside. They've stacked way up going into the chicane here.
It's hard to even call.
That's Cooper. Now you've got both Chase and Cooper in the 1-2, just like in race 1. Does his brother make a move?
Oh, boy.
They're side by side already, going down the hill as they start to run into turn 8. The number 1, and then we've got the 31 of Cooper, Jazikoff, and then Cruz Texter trying to come back.
The two brothers have kind of opened up a little bit of breathing room there the last couple laps, but look at Cooper.
Cooper's coming.
looking for a way by.
Cooper is going to have a look as they go tight and defensive. Chase does.
Tightens up through here. Look at that.
And look at Cruz opening things up.
Oh!
Is he using the rear brake there, Raj?
I don't know if he went back a gear or what, but the rear end stepped out. He did all that work Cooper did to get there in second. He's going to have to do it all over again.
But look at the 55 has entered the party. Oh, he runs wide again. He's just making mistake after mistake. And that is so tough when you make a mistake and you want to just try to get it back in that next corner.
You just want to get it all back, and you got to be patient, and it's hard, especially in a 5-rider pack.
But the 55 makes a move. Braun Masanga in second place. Can he close in with 2 laps or a lap and a half remaining? But I think Chase is kind of starting to clear off here. Just have been out front and just with no drama.
Mistakes behind him. He's the one that the other riders have all kind of made some mistakes, and he's just kept it steady. See what that has did, but there's still a lap and a half left to go in this race. We see some lappers coming up as well.
The number 1 we're looking at here, Chase Jazikoff, just wide open on that CRF 50. Not really making a ton of body movements, just really just locked in that motorcycle. You can just see him just going 0 to 100% with the throttle. But the 55 is closing in. We got 1 lap to go, ladies and gentlemen. 12.2, fastest lap of Braun Masanga's race.
Got held up.
This
Chase
could be everything. Held up. This could be everything. The 55 is going to go alongside the number 1 as we go into turn 5. It's going to break. Oh, this will be a braking pool. He just moves alongside him and saws his front end off, Raj.
Chase was not giving up that spot.
He's got the number 1 for a reason. And the 3rd place, Nico Bandel has been keeping his powder dry the entire race, closing in on the 55. Heart rate's going, Raj, on the last lap.
We'll see. He's closing. Chase, we've seen those guys a little bit quicker than him this last 5 or 6 corners.
And they make it through that tough right-hander there as they go through the last 3 corners. This last chicane, I think it's going to be these 3, but is Nico Bandel going to make a last lap move? Through the chicane they go.
Closing it up.
The 55 is going to make a move. It doesn't look like it.
Chase is a little wide, but he is able to hang on. What a race. Braun Masanga there, 2nd. Nico Bandel, 3rd. Those 3 guys all finished within almost a half a second of each other.
What a race, Raj. I mean, that was awesome. The top 5 going neck and neck there. We saw Braun Masanga there almost celebrate a little early, but it means, how much does it mean to them to get in the top 3 here? Cruz early on in that fight just gets shuffled back, but really good rebound. Look at the times, the delta. Like at 12.3 is the fastest, and the last lap was a 13.5. It's just to show you that they're all on the limit.
All on the limit and just able to, I guess the big thing is watching Chase lead like that and not hearing he hears all those kids behind him and still never just makes a mistake.
And he did. I mean, going into turn 5, that chicane before going up to the hill, I mean, the 55 of Braun and Chase were neck and neck going by that lapper. Kind of holds him off. He gets aggressive.
They got to run, but he moved right over and blocked the line.
Look, you can see everybody's pretty pumped here. And this is tough. I mean, this is the national final. Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup National Final presented by Motul. That's what you're going to get, the best kids across the U.S., the nation, and Canada here today, racing for that AMA National Championship. Wow, what an amazing race. That's what we're here for. Good racing, good clean racing. As we look at the results here in that barn burner of a race, Chase Jazikoff is your winner by 0.4 of a second over Braun Masanga. Nico Bandel fights through to finish third. Cooper, his brother, Jazikoff, in fourth place. Cruz Texter rounds out that lead group in the top 5. Michael Sarkis, 6th place. Skylar Laux in 7th. Chip Lampley, Zachary Tancredi, Tasneem Salem, rounding out your top 10 in the 50 stock class. They're all on Honda CRF 50s. The 11th place there of Bruno Bolanos. And Raj is with our winner, number 1, Chase Jazikoff.
Yeah, Chase, another win there in race 2. Tell us how you did it.
Good.
How was the bike feel in that race?
Awesome.
There was a lot of riders behind you in that race. Could you hear the 5-rider pack?
Yeah.
So what about tomorrow? Are you looking forward to the track going to change directions?
Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck tomorrow. Great job today.
And thank you to Dunlop.
All right. He wants to thank Dunlop. That's smart. Back to you, James.
He's keeping his cards close to his chest there. Chase Jazikoff, your leader, with the Sonic Hedgehog. I mean, those are cool leathers. Thanking Dunlop there. That's awesome. So calm and cool, collected out front. So much pressure behind, but that's what you got to do. You got to stay looking forward. I didn't see him look back one time. Didn't make any mistakes out there. Was fast in all the right places. Sonic and I don't know who the other character is. Maybe it's before my time. Really cool suit. It's kind of like a, I gotta say, like a Bill Belichick interview there. Pretty just short and sweet. Not giving too much away.
I want to show his cards headed into tomorrow. He thanked his tire sponsor, though. You always want to keep the Dunlop boys happy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. And that's interesting. Nico Bandel finishing third there with that rain tire. So he started coming towards the end there. He kept his powder dry. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out in longevity with the tires.
Be interesting tomorrow if we see Chase fall back to about 3rd or 4th, if he's able to put those passes on those other kids. But you got to think, after watching the 2 races today, all 5 of those are going to be in contention. All 5 of those kids will be in contention for a win.
Yeah, and the championship. I mean, anything can happen. It just takes 2 tough races, and that order flipped. And you could have a Cruz Texter or a Cooper or a Nico Braun all win the national championship. And that's what's so cool about the Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup National Final here, presented by Motul. You get to win an AMA National #1 plate.
Not only that, he thanked Dunlop. Also get a Dunlop guitar. Tom Duma penned it. There's a lot up. We talk a lot about these kids being so young. What would you tell, let's say you worked with Chase, what would you tell him after winning both races today, having a little bit of a lead? What would you tell him going into tomorrow?
Try to do the same thing. Get a start and don't look back. But if we get shuffled back, be patient, right? You know, you could see that the number 55 tried to make a move alongside him going into turn 5, I believe, and he chopped his nose right off. I mean, we got to be patient, because one big mistake or a crash, we don't want to take a 0, right? We're here for the #1 plate. Everybody wants to win, but I think patience would be pretty good. But if he can do what he did today, Raj, just taking the double.
That's right. I just try to avoid anybody else's mistake. And on the flip side of that, the other Nico and Braun and those kids, they're going to have to be a little bit more aggressive tomorrow because, you know, they get another third, fourth, or fifth. It's going to make them hard to make up that, you know, going into that fourth race. They're going to need a chase DNF for them to be able to win the title.
And as we saw, it's getting more racy as the races go. As we look there, I think that's Cooper. Just a little bit down maybe. I mean, buddy, you were in the fight. He was in the fight, though. I mean, he made one mistake there in the final corner there with the rear of the tire. Just, I don't know if you went for the rear brake or if, you know, something happened, but that's just what happens when you're on the limit, even if you're a kid racing stock 50. As we look here at the championship standings, the unofficial results right now, Chase Jazikoff is leading with 60 points. His brother, Cooper, in second place, tied with Braun Masanga there with a great number, 43 points, 17 back. The number 4 position is 26 Cruz Texter, 5th Nico Bandel, 6th Michael Sarkis, 7th Chip Lampley, 8th Bruno Bolanos, 9th Zachary Tancredi, and 10th Skylar Laux, rounding out the top 10. It's tight though, Raj, the top 5.
Real tight. I mean, you look all the way down to, as you said, 5th, just so close, and even, you know, 6th, 7th. Talk about how competitive this is. You never know what could happen going into that second day.
Yeah, as we talk, we flip the track, go the other way as we get ready for probably one of the most spectacular classes we have here at the Mini Cup National Final, the GP 160 class. This one was a barn burner between Jace Dill and Connor Raymond. They were neck and neck. Connor applying so much pressure in race 1, but Jace Dill just ice cold, just ice cold.
You seen Connor tried to make a move a couple laps ago, and you got to think going into this race, if that door opens like it did, he's going to come through.
I think he has to. I think he's got to show a little bit of aggression and maybe make that move that might screw him up both. But, I mean, they've got such a big gap on P3 that they can kind of get a little racy towards the end of this race. This one's 10 laps.
They're just so evenly matched over the lap. I mean, it seems like one of them is better in one corner than the other. One closes up, and then, you know, Connor will close it back down, and Chase will have a couple good corners just throughout the lap. They just kind of yo-yo, so it makes it hard to get close enough to really make that pass.
Yeah, and the difference between what's interesting between Jay Still and Connor Raymond, as we look at Gabriel Datus here riding multiple classes, the 37 there, is you can see the style difference, right? Jay Still, a little bit more erratic on the bike, throws the leg out like GP style, trying to drag elbow, whereas you look at Connor Raymond, just more in the middle of the seat, upright, doesn't do anything erratic, very like Jorge Lorenzo-esque versus, you know, somebody who's a little bit more, if I was going to use Marc Marquez kind of vibe.
Connor, really good corner exits too.
Great.
As you mentioned, you know, getting the drives up the hill out of these chicanes. So we'll see, you know, we've seen these races in some other classes. The second race be way different than the first one. So we're going to find out pretty soon.
Yeah, and we'll see if anybody else can latch on to those. We'll see if Alessandro can then find a little bit of time. Even Gabriel Datus riding multiple classes, seeing if that helps him.
I really like the fact to come here and do 2 classes and get double the track time, because there's no replacement for a young kid than track time.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got Connor Raymond there on the 44. His brother, Josh Raymond, is in the British Talent Club. He's actually in Thruxton in England right now. You think, I mean, they probably have their day done. You think he's probably tuning in now, watching his brother?
Oh, yeah, he's definitely watching his brothers. We see the starting grid, the same as race 1. Jay Steele on pole, Connor Raymond middle of the front row in second. Alessandro Gigante there rounding out the front row. 4th, Gabriel Datus there 4th. Blake Sarantino 5th. Parker Bussey there 6th to round out the second row. And we move on down to the 3rd row. Gabriella Gigante 7th. Levy Martin and Sophia Wilshusen there in 3rd. 3rd row. Full grid. One thing I like this class too is we've seen Connor and Jace kind of work through the classes where they were in the back, and now they're the guys that get to watch the other kids start making their way toward the front.
Yep, that's what's so cool about the Mini Cup National Final is there's so much talent and depth, and everybody gets to work their way through. I believe Madi Salim was on the 160 before. As we got the lights on, and we're going lights out. It looks like maybe one of the riders moved a little bit. They all get away clean. The 98 struggles a little bit. That's Levi Martinez.
Looked like Gabriel Davis moved a little bit before that light went out.
Just getting a little antsy early on in this race, but it is the front runner of the 97 of Jace Dill leading the race, but getting a pressure applied immediately by Connor Raymond early on in this race.
Yeah, already you see the top two guys there already starting to kind of make that break as they get through that first lap.
Oh, the third rider there, I believe that's Alessandro, and wow. As we go back to the front of the 97, Jay Still putting the pressure or putting down the hammer and trying to get away and break Connor Raymond. But I mean, this is going to be. It looks like it's going to be another race of these two. We'll see if the third place rider can get on touch with these guys.
Connor Raymond at this point though knows where he's quicker, and I'm sure be able to. Other people be able to tell him after the race that watched, and him being able to follow Jace that whole first race. He kind of knows where, he's better, but making the pass is what's hard.
That is so hard when you have somebody like Jay Still that's running a tighter line, as you can see in turn 7 there, and so good on the brakes. Like, that's what's making it so hard for Connor to pass Jace. He is so good on the brakes, and he doesn't open up his lines. He kind of goes straight in, turns it, and fires it out, whereas Connor opens things up, rolls it around, and kind of really uses the momentum.
And by doing that, Jace doesn't give Connor an opportunity to make a pass.
Exactly. As we go back to the front, the 97 leading the 44. Again, we're going to lap 3. Laps ticking down so quick here at the Mini Cup National Final. The 160 GP class here is, a little bit wide for the 97. Jay Still, but recovers pretty good. Connor Raymond, only a couple tenths behind.
See here, Connor, so good through that chicane. Look at the drive. He gets up the hill. Not as close as he wants to be, but I think that's the spot. I think it's one of the spots he thinks he might have in his back pocket.
As we move back to the 3rd and 4th place, we've got Gabriel Davis on the 37 versus Alessandro. There, not enough room for both bikes in that corner, turn 8, as they go through the flip-flop. It's nice to see the 37, really applying some pressure here. I'm riding multiple bikes. And this is another great battle.
Great battle. That last corner, you seen that pass, came to a shut-off contest.
Again, 2 different riding styles, and I believe that's a Top Pro logo on that Ovale. They have got a Superbike team with Sean Dillon Kelly in the National MotoAmerica series, so already getting some support coming from the top down to the Mini Cup series. The 37 going to work, trying to apply some pressure. This track is so hard to pass, Raj, because there's so many chicanes. You've got to almost kind of screw up a little bit to try to make a pass. It's tough.
It's really tough, and really this is one of those tracks where you got to set your passes up a couple corners early to put yourself in a spot to be able to make the pass. And we've seen passes so far today, and they've been pretty aggressive. So when you want to make a pass, you got to kind of move them out of the way.
Yeah, so, Raj, what are you doing if you're the crew of Connor Raymond going into this race too? What's the goal? Are we following the whole race, or are we going to try to disrupt?
Try to get the lead, and also I would tell him, see, we get through a lap or two. That chicane and Connor's going to get held up big time. Wow. Gosh.
That's going to be really difficult to close up. If he can close that gap, that should give him a lot of confidence. But Jay Still out front, turn 8 there, looking so comfortable on that 97 160 Ovale.
Connor Raymond just did the fastest lap of the GP 160 class there, 54.9.
That is so tough.
He's going to have to do a couple more now. He's got to close that gap. You asked me what would I tell Connor going into this race. I would show him those spots where he was quicker and where those, where he could maybe make a pass. If you got a little bit, stay closer through these parts of the track so when you get to your strengths, you don't have to come from so far back to make those passes on the brakes.
That lapped rider, it was so tough. It was over a second that he lost there. 1.4 seconds he lost, but it looks like he might be starting to close in a little bit on Jay Still here. That would be an exceptional ride with 5 laps to go, 4.5 laps to go. If he can start closing back in of that 1.8 seconds, you can see he's got his head.
Closing.
He's got his head down.
There's still 5 laps to go here. There's still plenty of time. It is a big margin, but if he has his head down, I've heard some riders talking about they've been sending it today, and Connor wants to win this race. He's going to have to send it.
And it might give him a little bit of confidence being able to not have Jace right in front of him. He can kind of open things up even more as he has a little bit of a moment on the rear tire there.
Look at him trying to get the power down.
The 44 just roaching that Dunlop tire off.
What was he? 0.6 quicker that lap, a 54.8.
Fastest lap of the race for Connor Raymond on the 44, hunting down this man you see right here, this kid, the 97 of Jace Dill.
Look at, you can visually see it is still closing down.
3.5 laps to go in this oval or GP 160 race presented by Mission Foods. Look at the lap difference here.
Just that 56.9 there, that lapper, but you can see now he's got his head down. Just watch him on the bike. Look how much the bike's moving around, and that's just how hard he's riding.
Oh, look, he's closed it right in. I mean, he's on the back of him in 1 lap. This is going to be an exceptional lap for Connor Raymond. 54.7 for Raymond there. Closes in again. Takes a chunk out of Jay Still. This is going to come back down to the wire, right?
Come to the wire, and we've seen Connor. I think maybe if he chases him down from this far, he might be even more aggressive to try to make that pass.
He's on the back of a Mirage here. Where does he make a move? Does he just try to attack right down into turn 8? I don't think he's going to be close enough.
I don't think he's close enough, but I think now once you catch him, he needs to go right away as soon as he can.
And if you're Jay Still, I mean, you just watched. He hasn't looked back, but you know that feeling, right? There was nobody there. You didn't hear anybody, and now he's back.
Also, too, as a rider, you kind of spot each other in certain corners where you can kind of look back. So he's seen Connor back there, knew he had a little bit of a lead, but now he's got company.
I think Connor needs to try to go right away. He can't just get in line with the 97. He's got to try to fire, and I think it's going to be out of that turn 5-6 chicane. So we go through here, this turn 4. And then we're going to go down this little straightaway down into the next chicane, turn 5. And he's really good out of here, closing in and getting a good run as we get closer to him. Maybe another lapper.
Jace has did really good this race. He's made huge improvements headed up to turn 3 through those first couple chicanes.
And I believe we just moved back here, and this is...
We're getting into lappers. Lappers are going to come into play. Connor Raymond got held up last time. Let's see how it works out through here. Again.
We're sandwiched again, but it looks like he's going to fire right back. He's going to go by both of them. Keeps it tight. The 97 leads him through the last corner. As we start our last lap here, the 97's got some breathing room over Connor Raymond.
More lappers. Looks like they're not going to have any trouble possibly with this one.
They both get by going into turn 5 here. 6, the flip-flop, up the run towards the top. Is he going to do it? He finally makes the move. And it
felt it pushed him a little bit wide, but he was able to hold the line.
Jay Still just holds off Connor Raymond in turn 7 as they work their way down to the most technical part of the track, this downhill right. Really hard, but he's started to push away, and he's got 1 or 2 bike lengths here in this final lap.
Connor kind of tried to make that pass now. Looks like he's kind of lost his low momentum there after he didn't make it.
Yeah, I think Jay Still's got this one locked up. Starts to fire it out there. Gets the checkered flag and takes the double. Connor Raymond in second place there. Wow. I thought he was going to do it.
Thought he had it.
I know.
I thought he was close enough, but now we see move back to this battle for 3rd and 4th.
This is Datus 37 with that Red Bull helmet on. making a last lap move here with Alessandro behind him. Is he going to hold him off? He goes in the tuck position. Oh, and Alessandro is not happy. Yeah, I mean, this is just how much it means to these kids.
Just to be that close to the third and losing, like you said, it just shows you what it means to them.
Yeah, and Alessandro set his fastest lap of the race at the end there. Move further back with, as we look at our photographer, some of the MotoAmerica officials. As we finish up the GP 160 here. A couple of the riders finishing up here. Getting in the tuck and finishing is Levi Martinez. Wow, what a race in the Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup National Final presented by Motul. The GP 160 class. Jay Still holds off Connor Raymond. And what we thought, he was gone. Connor put his head down, set the fastest lap of the race, closed in, tried to make a pass up into turn 7, and wow, couldn't quite get it done, but it's just good confidence for tomorrow. As we look at the results, Jay Still wins, number 97, followed by the 44, Connor Raymond. Gabriel Datus makes a good improvement on the 37, Alessandro Gigante. In 4th place, Blake Sarantino. In 5th, Parker Boosie. In 6th, Gabriela Gigante. In 7th, Sophia 8th. Rounding out your top 9 is Levi Martinez in the GP 160 class. An amazing race by these 10 to 14-year-olds. And we're going to go with Raj with our winner. Does the double, Jay Still.
Hey, Jace, what a ride. Able to get the double today. How was you able to hold off Connor Raymond again that race?
I don't know, just got to hold the gas.
Early on in the race, you kind of got a little bit of a gap. Did you know Connor was closing down back on you?
Yes, I did. I did know.
All right, well, good job today, winning both races, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
You just heard it from Jay Still, the 97. This kid has got some great style. Such a great race, leading from start to finish, holding off immense pressure from the 44 of Connor Raymond. Those two checked out by 21 seconds over a great ride by the 37, Gabriel Datus, over Alessandro. And another tight race there. And Blake Sarantino rounding out your top 5 once again. As we look upon the Motorplex here at Road America. Beautiful, beautiful track here for the Mini Cup National Final. Everybody racing for that AMA National #1 plate, as well as the Dunlop Amateur Elite Team, the top 2. Get that from a great sponsor, Dunlop, all running Dunlop tires, really pushing it to the limits on these ovales. As we look at the championship standings.
Look at Connor Raymond there in second. 10 points back. He needs to go out tomorrow. He's got to win some races, James.
He's going to have to. He's really going to have to apply pressure, but I'm going to be interested to see if they flip the track, if he's a little bit better.
Also, too, when they flip the track, look at Gabriel there in 3rd, Alessandro 4th, Blake 5th. A couple of those guys, you flip this track around, one of those guys could throw their name in the mix as well.
Yep, I would totally agree with that. As we have Gabriela Gigante in 7th, Sophia 8th, Levi Martinez in 9th place in our championship standings in the first ever Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup National Final presented by Motul.
Has not disappointed yet. I mean, the races have been pretty awesome so far. Being able to be down there in Park Ferme with the kids, it's been really fun to see the ones that win and the jubilation of how happy they are. And on the flip side of that, get to see you know, get to see the kids, what it means to them, but not getting it done and the hurt and what they're, you know, you got to learn how to win, and sometimes you got to have to learn how to take defeat.
I totally agree with you, Raj. It's tough to learn how to lose, but you have to learn that skill. And we see it today, you know, not today, but we see it in even the national championship with the junior cup, and, you know, they're still young kids. And even in the big class, you know what it means to all these riders when you put so much into it. And yeah, these kids, they might not be training every single day, but they put everything in it, and their families put everything in it to be here. And you know how that pressure is.
Oh, big time. And that's the thing you talked about, learning how to deal with that. And, I mean, there's going to be kids from here that come to this event and don't do as well as they want, and it's going to light a fire in them. And there'll be a totally different kid when they show up here next year, and that's what's really cool to see.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I remember one of my worst loses was having a 10-second lead at Mid-Ohio, and I lost that race. I'll tell you right now, I'd never allow that to happen again. But sometimes you just gotta go through that process, even though how bad and humiliating it might be. But as we get ready for this street GP class, everybody on a Honda Grom here. At this beautiful Motorplex. As we look at, we've got Cameron Jones on the 11 on that factory-looking HRC Grom. And then what's pretty cool is the second rider there, I think that's Rodriguez, with the dual pipes coming out of the
like
bag.
that.
It's really kind
of like the old RC51 look.
Yeah, he's got the Castrol on the side. It looks awesome. Yeah. I think it's a Leo Vince exhaust. It looks like a Moto 3.
Yeah, it looks cool. Yeah, just the old Castrol RC51 look. Got the HRC sticker on there as well.
That is really cool.
Got the Battle of the Honda liveries out there.
Yep, and then we've got, I believe, Sean Bandel on the all-white number 5. Earlier today, Cameron Jones ran away with this. We'll see if anybody else can kind of put some pressure on him, but we had a really good race from Sean Bandel and Joshua Rodriguez early on. But it'll be interesting to see if they can't maybe just try to go with him.
Yeah, Rodriguez lost a lot of time early on in that race, and once he got into second, his lap times was a lot closer, so we'll see if he can get a better start. And, like you said, go with Cameron Jones.
Yeah, and just to remind everybody, Sean Bandel's got a son, Nico Bandel, riding here. And it's such a good class that you come with whoever your rider, your son, daughter, and there's a class for you to ride, right? To go and have some fun, maybe learn the track a little bit, maybe work on some things that you can't see from the pit lane. And also just to have a lot of fun.
Have a lot of fun, and then also, you know, you hear your kid talk about the track, and you get out there and get some laps in. You can relate, and when your kid's young, you can get out there and ride with them. We talked a lot about, you know, age classes and, you know, age groups in these classes. This one here is 12 and up, so as long as you're 12 years old, you can be in this class.
Raj, we'll be looking for you to sign up next year.
Next year. Will you sponsor me?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yes. I have to talk to the manager. As we look at the starting grid here, Cameron Jones on the number 11 is on pole position. The 285 of Joshua Rodriguez starting on that middle of the front row. And Sean Bandel on the third position rounds out that front row. As they snake their way down through the Motorplex here. This amazing track.
Look at all those different designs as well. I love that, where you can just make a lot of different tracks. If you want something a little bit quicker, then open it up. The chicane here that they're using, I mean, we haven't used that before.
Of course, and then going backwards, I am so intrigued to see what's going to happen tomorrow. You know, everybody's got their brake markers and everything set for today. And then tomorrow they're just going to get thrown for a loop. And who's going to be able to adapt and adjust to flipping the track tomorrow?
Here we go. Cameron Jones with another good start.
Cameron Jones leads us through turn 2, 3.
Rodriguez also a lot better start this time there in second, just as you thought. If he could get a good start, maybe he can latch on.
That'll be interesting as they snake their way through the top of this course, going up into turn 7. And it looks like Rodriguez even opens up a little bit into that turn 7. We'll see if he can't start the climb down towards turn 8 as they work their way through the middle part of this lap. Wow, it looks awesome.
Really fun corner right there, the little right-handers. It goes downhill and through here. It's where it gets technical.
It'll be interesting if Cameron Jones, you said he didn't even run a lap timer, so everything's just off feel for Cameron Jones out front.
And every lap in the first race was within a tenth. Just doing it by feel was pretty impressive.
Yep, as we look, the 285 of Joshua Rodriguez, second place, about a second off that first lap. He's going to have to try to put his head down and really put some pressure on if he's going to try to fight and close in on Cameron Jones.
It's a lot closer this time, so he kind of has the opportunity. You can see in the camera shot there, it's keeping him honest there within about a second.
As we look at the number 5, Sean Bandel, running at your top 3 here, just keeping it smooth. Really smooth as he snakes his way down into that downhill, very technical right-hander. And it looks like Rodriguez is actually closing in on Cameron Jones here. We might have a race on our hands.
Closed down a lot. He's had that gap was about a second and a half. He's definitely cut that down.
He loses a lot out of that last corner.
It's close. It's down to a couple tenths that lap, but it was the fastest lap of the race by Rodriguez there, a minute .5.
I think that's the fastest lap that we might have seen today. I don't remember what Cameron Jones did in the first race, but he's definitely put his...
59.2.
Okay, he's putting his head down now. You can see, stretched it out a little bit. We'll see if Rodriguez can go with him. Cameron Jones, the 11. Oh, takes a long look back.
Rodriguez was really closer until they got out of that last corner. He got a bad drive, like maybe he forgot to go or missed the extra gear down.
Yeah. Running a bit tall. The 11. That beautiful Honda Grom on the CJR Performance back Honda Grom. Looking smooth. Cameron Jones getting a good run. 4 laps to go now. Yep.
Now he's back down to the 59s.
59.5 for Cameron Jones there. Really stretching it out, pushes it back out to the 1.6 second gap to Joshua Rodriguez, the 285, as they go through turns 5, 6, now 7, the top of the hill as they start to make their way down some elevation into turn 8. Really hard braking zone. They go left, back right, left into this technical right-hander.
Really technical down through this right-hander into this last half of the track. I mean, you just have to be precise through here. If you're offline in that first left-hander, it's going to hurt your lap time all the way through for the rest of the track.
It's weird because once I think Cameron Jones is like checked out and gone, I see Joshua Rodriguez like start closing in weird places, and that's how big this track is you can be so good in one sector and really suffer in another, and the lap time be so different. So we go back to the leader here, the number 11.
It's just this consistency, Cameron Jones. Like first race, now this race as well. I mean, just so many laps right there at the 59.5s.
Rodriguez having a look down. Cameron Jones, though, just 59.5 that last lap. So that's the fastest lap of the race. Put some more time, 2.3 seconds in. Rodriguez here with that beautiful Castrol looking Grom. Trying to ride as hard as he can.
He's pushing. He's trying to close that gap down as much as he can. That's the hard part, when you can see it right there and you just can't close it down.
It's so hard when you're watching somebody getting away from you and you just can't really see where. It's just like, you know, a 10th here, a 10th there.
Demoralizing.
Oh, it's so tough. Oh, 59.4 for Cameron Jones. He has definitely found some pace, Raj. He's got the negative split going every single lap with 2 laps remaining, a lap and a half.
Ever since he looked back and seen Rodriguez there, he's kind of found another gear.
Head down. I mean, he wants to win that AMA National #1 championship.
Dunlop guitar. Tommy Duma pendant. There's a lot.
Some prize packs from Motion Pro. Arai stepped up. Arai helmet. As we go, white flag now for the number 11. Cameron Jones comes across the line, 59.6, a little bit slower, but still extending his time from Joshua Rodriguez in second place. Final lap.
He knows it now. He kind of had that look and knows he's got a little bit of breathing room. Now he just needs to not do anything crazy and see that checkered flag.
Signed, sealed, and delivered, Raj. Just got to close the book. That bike looks so good and so stable.
Just planted.
Cameron Jones finishing up the final bit of this last lap here in the Street GP class. Goes through the last corner here.
There he goes. He sees the checkered flag. Can he win 2 races today? And he does. Cameron Jones with another win. Joshua Rodriguez, great second race for him there in second. That gap was a lot closer.
Yeah, I would agree with you. 5.9 seconds to Joshua Rodriguez. And we've got the number 5 of Sean Bando bringing 3rd place. Still on the podium here. Getting the tuck, finishing strong. Nice, and that's a good day of racing, Raj.
Good day. Really good day. The kids were pretty impressive, and I'm looking forward to, you mentioned it earlier, the track changing directions tomorrow, and which kids can, adapt to the new layout quicker.
What do you think's the best race of today? Is it the Stock 50 or the 160 GP?
One of those two, Stock 50 or the GP 160. Both those races were really good.
I love that Stock 50 class, having 5 riders in the lead group.
And we've seen them today get more aggressive as the races went on. Just think about tomorrow when it's the last day. I mean, they have nothing to lose and they need points.
Going for the AMA National Championship here at the Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup National Final presented by Motul. And like Roger said, it's going to be so crucial for these kids to get a good night's sleep and come back strong tomorrow. As we look at the results for the Street GP class, Cameron Jones with a dominant performance who wins the race. Joshua Rodriguez finishes second, 5.9 seconds behind. Sean Bandel finishes third, all on a Honda Grom. Of course, Honda putting up amazing contingency for all the classes that they represent. But a dominant performance for Cameron Jones in the Street GP, doing the double today here at the Motorplex. And Roger Hayden is with Cameron Jones, who's done the double. Raj?
Yeah, I'm with Cameron Jones there, winning race 2. Cameron, how was it out there?
Oh, that was a lot of fun. I love this track, love the layout. I'm glad everybody out here is putting together a good show, and glad to have TV coverage. And it's it's a lot of fun. I'm got a ton of companies to thank with this. Really got to thank Honda Power Sports for doing the contingency package, Jones Honda, DH Motoring, the Speed Shop, Avail Motorsports. There is a ton of people behind this. Racing Bros Suspension, A-Racer USA on the ECU. Ton of guys I can't thank enough. Otherwise, this whole package wouldn't be coming together as well as it is.
What going into tomorrow after winning both races today, what's the plan going into day 2?
We're going to take it just a little bit easier. I had a kind of a high downshift going into turn 5 there, and it made a noise I didn't like. So I think we're just going to kind of play it a little on the safer side and just try and bring it home and have fun.
All right, great job today. Good luck tomorrow. Back to you, James.
You can see Cameron Jones there. Maybe downshifted a little high in one of the corners. Didn't like the sound it made, so maybe to keep it a little bit conservative tomorrow. And that might bring Joshua Rodriguez or Sean Bendale back into the race. Thanking a lot of his sponsors. As we look at the championship points here, no surprises, Cameron Jones leads with Joshua Rodriguez in second place and Sean Bendale in third for the unofficial standings here for the Street GP. And of course, great to see Cameron thinking MotoAmerica Live Plus. We've been on here all day. We'll be here all day tomorrow for this amazing action here for the first Mission MotoAmerica Mini Cup National Final presented by Motul. Everybody racing for an AMA National #1 plate, a championship. Wow, it's been an amazing day.
Been a good day. As you mentioned, and that some of the other riders have talked about, tomorrow's a different opportunity. We'll see the track tomorrow. We're going just backwards. There's nothing different, just going backwards, and you can see it's going to be a lot different. The first part of the track tomorrow is going to be the technical part, and then when you get to the second part of the track is where it's going to be really quick. Well, I'm interested to see toward the end, 12, 13, 14, and those corners, since they're downhill, those chicanes are going to be a lot quicker. They had some banking today. It's going to be interesting to see how they adjust.
Yeah, I believe it. I think turn 10, if we look there, they're going to have to get a good run out of there for an amazing passing opportunity in turn 11. But I would agree with you, Roger. It is going to be interesting to see the difference in who adapts the best to tomorrow's racetrack. I mean, it's like you just get into a flow and they go, nope, we're going to flip it around and we're gonna make it a little bit more difficult for all the riders here at the Motorplex.
Look, speaking of tomorrow, we're going to look at the broadcast schedule. We are live again tomorrow, just like we was today. Here's the broadcast schedule, starting with the races. Stock 1, Stock 110 at 2, GP 190, 245 Easterns at Stock 50, 305 GP 160, 325 Street GP, Stock 125. Then we have a little bit of a break, and then we're going to go into the final races of the weekend with Stock 110, 405, 425 GP 190, 445 Stock 50, GP 160, 5:05 p.m. Eastern, 5:25 Eastern is the Street GP. Stock 125 is going to round out the last race of the weekend. So, James, thanks for joining me today. It was great to have you. Looking forward to tomorrow. I want to thank all the officials and all the riders and the teams and the kids and the parents for putting on such a great show today. And we'll see you guys tomorrow at 1 o'clock.